here. Oh, all right. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Pass the Barb. I'm your host, Ryan Pinkalla, and tonight is going to be a fun one. It's me and Barty Boy holding down the fort here. Sobi is MIA. He's fishing. I believe tonight he was supposed to be here, but tonight's going to be a fun one. Coming to you again, being the #1 outdoor podcast in the world. And we
can't even believe it.
It's honestly incredible. It's honestly incredible that it has continued this long. And guess what? Tonight we have an absolute hammer fest of guests coming in tonight. We got we've been rotating bench, so to speak.
We've been a little naughty this winter in terms of being on time with podcasts. So we're like, shit, we need to make it up to everybody. So what we're doing is we got a little double whammy of guests. So we're going to start this one off with the Bassmaster Elite Series kicks off. It would be next week. There's a Bassmaster Open tomorrow. But Elite Series is kicking off. We're going to have on Bass Nation champion Blake Caps. And this is also great because Blake, we're not just having Blake on because he's a Bass Nation champion. Like, Blake knows Sobi and I from when we started high school fishing. Like, we stayed at the same hotel together in Arkansas. So there's a very long backstory here, which is going to be like, that's what's fun about Pass the Barb. So we're going to dive into that. And then we're going to have the return of the whole Crappie Chronicles crew, which everybody knows is going to be hella rowdy.
Yeah, and it's going to be late at night, so who knows how this is going to go.
Griff's going to be several Coors Light deep, more than likely.
Yeah.
Actually, probably. Yeah, we were on
the road
a Wednesday.
For
2 weeks. He could be pretty burnt out, dude. To be honest.
I don't know. I can't wait to find out, though.
Yeah, I would say, like, Pink, how have you been lately? What's been going on?
We've been spending way too much time together.
I've literally been with you. So
yeah.
We'll chat with all the Chronicles boys about everything when we all catch up and all that. So we'll just dive into this right away. So normally Sobi's here to do the introductions. I'll do one. We have Bass Nation champion, Oklahoma Hammer, and probably the shortest bass fisherman I know. But he makes up for it by he only power fishes and he swings a big stick. Mr. Blake Caps, he has no camera on right now just because he has no service down in Florida where he is. So what's going on, Blake?
Man, thanks for having me on, guys. I'm excited to be here.
Dude, that is factual, though. You are the shortest person on the Elite Series, correct?
Give us the stats. What? Give us some stats here. Blake Caps checking in at what? What are we talking?
Where am I at? Like right now?
Oh no, physical stats. We're going stats.
You're walking into a UFC ring. Where are you at right now?
I'm 5 foot. Well, actually, I'm about 6'2", 200. No.
Oh,
you could have kept going. There's no camera. You could have made everyone
just have to believe it.
Yeah. How big you think I am? How about that?
Yeah, actually, this is great. Okay. Pink doesn't know him, so this is a great little game.
Good. Yeah.
Okay. Well, based on the limited amount of time I saw you before your internet cut out, I'm going. Oh, I feel like I'm gonna guess, and then Bart's gonna take the over or under on this. I'm going 5'4", 180.
No, not that short.
Damn it! I went too small.
What are you?
About 5'7", 5'8", somewhere around there.
I don't know.
I'm not gonna give you 5'8". If you got your cowboy boots on, all right.
Yeah, to get cowboy boots on, we're like 5'9".
Yeah, there you go.
With boots, there's no way you're 5'8" and 5'9". What? Come on.
Yeah,
dude, have you seen how big those boots are in Oklahoma?
Yeah,
better than 1 inch. Tell you that.
You put a cowboy hat on or something, you're like 5'10" then, so we're somewhere.
Starting to get close to seeing my
shit. Yeah, we're getting there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I won't hold it against you.
All right. And we're just ripping on Blake, but Blake.
It depends how much I've been drinking too, determines how tall I am too.
That is fair. That is true. But all right, Blake, let's dive into this a little bit. So right now where are you in Florida?
I think Melbourne, how you say it. It's somewhere. It's on the Oh, it's kind of directly south of the St. John's, about an hour and a half, 2 hours south.
So is that by the Harris chain then?
No, it's directly, I guess, west of I'm sorry, the east of Harris Chain.
Okay, so you're like, yeah, gotcha. So you're,
I'm almost on the ocean, almost. But
gotcha.
I'm actually, I guess it'd be my great aunt's house. It's my grandpa's sister's. She lives out here, so I'm staying with her right now. So kind of this trip, got to go see her, so that's pretty cool.
Nice. Well, yeah, that's sweet. But okay, I'm sure we'll dive into the whole Bass Nation win and everything. But the biggest thing I want to know is so like November 7th hits or whatever it is. Blake Caps, you are now a Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. You now have 3 months to get ready to be a Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. How was those 9 weeks?
Oh, God, yeah, that's not. Yeah, 3 months. I wish I had 3 months. I mean, you roll into, like the first week, trying to make sure everything accept and make sure I was even going to take the offer. But you'd be crazy if you didn't take the offer. But then
The
you got
first week had to be a lot of like you just sitting there and being like, "What?"
Yeah, you just wake up in the morning and be like, "That really just happened." No,
I'm an
that's
elite.
yeah. It still don't even feel right, to be honest with you. But I got to quit thinking that because season starts next week. Or
Yeah,
really,
you'll get hurt real fast if you keep thinking
yeah,
that.
exactly. Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm ready. That's for sure. But that the week after that was pretty much a blur. And then it's like, all right, I got to start getting geared up, and then so you start making like trying to get things set up, and there's a lot to it that goes on behind the scenes that I figured that was like I figured there was a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but I never would have realized how stressful a lot of that stuff is too. And then you like roll into Thanksgiving, and then you're trying to get a hold of someone, and then they get we'll get back with you at the end of the week, and the next thing you know, it's Christmas and then New Year's, and
Yeah,
then
and then you're trying to call them on like December 17th and they're out of office. It's like, I'm out of the office till January 3rd. You're like, oh no.
yeah, exactly. And you're like, well, then you're trying to get your boat wrapped and truck wrapped, and you're like, well, trying to finalize sponsors and stuff, and then you
Isn't
talk to
it
some.
shocking how this is my experience when I got my boat wrapped and stuff? Pinky, I'm sure you would find this interesting too. It is shocking how far out places that wrap boats and trucks are for the lack of amount of vehicles I see actually wrapped.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're like, where are they all going?
yeah.
Yeah.
I literally got my boat. I got my truck and boat wrapped, and then like the next day, I was headed to Florida.
Oh geez, so you were cutting it pretty close there.
Everything was cutting close, like nothing major, but like trying to get the new boat ready and wrapped, and then everything loaded up. I had a couple issues that just put me like a day or two behind. Nothing major, but the day that I plan on leaving, I didn't even have my boat fully broke in. So I said, heck, I'm ready to get to Florida. So we left, and I actually came down here to the Harris chain just because I was like, heck, that'd be a cool place to go break a boat. And so we went and broke the new boat in at the Harris chain. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
As
Oh,
like
that's
the like business side, getting your legs under you been like kind of overwhelming, or is it going pretty smooth?
Yes, yes and no. It's definitely been a learning curve. It was pretty stressful to begin with because I was still working a full-time job,
Mm-hmm.
and then trying to work full-time, and it was shift work, and then trying to get things done on the phone and with people and going back and forth. And once I got to leave my full-time, I waited till after New Year's and stuff, worked through Christmas and get what extra money I could, to be honest with you. But and once I left, that was a big stress relief. Just not having to work that many hours a week, I guess you could say.
well, and I'm sure, like honestly, the moment you got on the freeway and started driving to Florida, there had to be a bit of relief of like, okay, we're doing it.
Oh,
Not like all the prepping and planning. Like I know I feel that way whether I'm going south and fishing in open or Toyota, or like even when we go film stuff for the Chronicles, like there's so much planning and everything that goes into it. You like hit the road and you're just like, oh, like now I
like
get to
now,
just
now
do
I
this.
just get to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's kind of going back to like my boat wasn't even fully broke in, and I was like, screw it, I got to get out of here. Like I'm tired of the noise. I just need to get on the road and just get away from everyone and get this started because I'm ready. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Well, and we were chatting just before this, but you said you've been doing some fishing the past couple of days, right?
Yeah. I think we broke this drive down into 2 days. So we didn't just kill ourselves trying to drive down. I think we went from Oklahoma to Birmingham, and then we drove the rest of the way the next day. Then I guess the last 5 days we've been fishing every day, pretty much daylight to dark.
Yeah.
You keep saying we. Is there someone with you, or is it I and you're just
it's a general
from Oklahoma?
No, it's we. No, it's we. My dad, he came down with me.
Oh, no way, really?
Yep.
Dude, his dad's awesome.
Yeah, he's in the other room right now. So, but so we've been getting to go fishing, and it's been a lot of fun.
That's got to be super cool for him. Like, Pink, if you didn't know, like his dad's kind of like Oklahoma tournament, like, legend, grew up Blake and Jake, who dominate now a bunch of tournaments across Oklahoma. So getting to ride with him down there, that's got to be a really cool experience for you guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I know that was his dream years ago. He's always loved fishing, and then now that I'm actually living the dream, kind of he's living it through me, I guess you could say. We're both living the dream now, I guess. It's something we've always wanted. So it's really cool. I'm glad he's been able to come down here with me too, and I'm sure he'll continue to try to come down to the next ones as well.
Yeah,
but
that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, then my brother, he's actually going to fly down and just to watch the first takeoff on St. John, so that's pretty cool.
That's super cool.
Yeah, getting to do stuff with like your dad, like that's awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. And
have you guys been leaning on him a little bit at least?
Oh yeah. We stroked him today. So, some little honey hole lake we went to. Well, I say that the whole parking lot was full. I guess people don't work down here; they just fish. So,
dude, Florida's a retirement community, of course.
Yeah,
like, come on, dude, it ain't Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Everybody works their whole life in Oklahoma to move to Florida.
Exactly. You work to Oklahoma to leave it.
Yeah. There you go.
No, that's great. Okay, so just I guess for people to kind of get to know you, because I would love if the Pass the Barb listeners, so obviously Blake's Bass Nation champ, kind of a lot of the Bass Nation champs that come in don't necessarily have a huge following or anything, and people just kind of gotta grab on with them. So we're doing our recruitment of Blake Caps right now, and I'm passionate about this because I'm saying this in the sense of, dude, so Sobi and I wish Sobi was here right now because it'd be awesome to talk about. But when we were, I don't know how old you were, Blake, but I was a senior in high school. We went and fished. Was it a TBF national?
TBF national championship. Yeah.
Yeah. TBF national championship down on Lake Dardanelle in Arkansas in the middle of July. I think the average heat each day was about 110.
It was brutal.
It was so hot. And we were staying at this like Holiday Inn or American Inn or something like that. And I'm pretty sure maybe Hampton Inn. And yes, it was a Hampton because Sobi's his dad got rewards points at that point in time. So that's why we used that hotel. We got a cheaper room. That was it. But we were down there with Larry Crone. If people know Larry from running the Minnetonka Classic forever, he was our boater. And then Blake was there with his dad, his brother. And then you were fishing with Josh or Colby.
Was I fishing with Josh that year? Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought Colby was there too.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking too.
Was Jake fishing with Josh and then you were with Colby?
I think Colby was fishing with me and Josh came with my brother just play fishing. Maybe
gotcha. Okay. But either way, we were the only people at this hotel that were fishing, and we just parked our boats next to each other and kind of started talking. And became friends. Blake is the reason that Sobi and I ended up running Dobbins rods and brought them up to Minnesota. Like that little tournament. And now, I mean, through all these trips and everything, we're here and Blake's fishing the Elite Series. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. But was the fishing good at that tournament?
It was terrible. It was so bad.
Because I went to I fished one college tournament on Dardanelle, and it was like, because it was funny that you said it was like super hot, because when we went, it was like 30 degrees.
Oh, wow.
On Dardanelle. I think if it was an FLW or whatever the hell it was, but I remember how shitty the fishing was, and I was like, this place is not it, dude.
Which is funny, because we had Easton Fothergill on, and Easton talked about how much he loves that place, and I was like, I need to go there whenever you've been there, because it sounds much more fun when you talk about it.
Oh, I think well, I love Dardanelle, but the very next year we about won that tournament. We were leading it going to the final day.
You were,
yeah.
So when I just remember when we were there, the only thing Sobi and I got on was we could catch them on a buzzbait or a lipless from like 6:30 to 8:30, aka low light. And once that ended, and I think we were all on the same page. Once that ended, you threw a Senko out and you just prayed.
Yeah.
Is that about how it went for you, Blake? Is that how you broke it down?
We went way up toward we was way up in Spadger, up around like some lily pad fields and stuff, and it was one of those deals. Yeah, it was good in the morning, then it sucked for the rest of the time.
And the good news was there was no wind, so you just sweated the whole day.
You just melted, yeah.
Beauty.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we fished that tournament, but then we all stayed in touch, and now Blake has, so for all the PTB listeners, Blake has come up to Minnesota and Wisconsin, hung out with like Hayden, Andy Nichols, and like all the guys, and gone fishing up here a few times.
I tell a lot of people if I ever leave Oklahoma, that's where I'm going, because like I just love it up there, and all the guys that I've met, they're super cool, and we're not too far away, but we all get along so good. I don't know. It's always a good time.
Well, now Bart, that you're in elite,
I was going to say right before he came on, we were just chatting a little bit, and he'd mentioned that he really wanted to try ice fishing, and I was like, "Oh, buddy, I don't know that you should even do that. Really,
not this year. Not this year. There's too much ice right now."
But yeah.
Yeah, no, there's like 30 inches, dude. You could drive a semi on these places right now.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was funny, actually, too. This is a little bit of a side topic, but you'll find this entertaining, Pink. I was talking to, so Blake Schroeder, different Blake, is a guy I roomed with in the Opens last year. He lives down in Texas. He's fishing that Rayburn tournament tomorrow. And I was they're going to, the weights are going to be incredible. Yeah, a lot of big fish. But I was talking to him, I think when we were on our last trip, he had called me and we were chatting quick. And we were just talking or whatever. And then random, because he fished the Leech Open this summer. And he goes, So man, I got a question for you. I just got to ask. So like, there are cars on that lake that we were on in August. I'm like, oh yeah. 100%. Like a bunch of them driving around. He's like, I just can't wrap my mind around that.
Okay, that's the funniest story, but I'm more shocked at how terrible your accent of portraying someone from the South is. It's honestly,
I know, yeah, no, I can't do it. But that was that conversation. Was I can't believe you can actually drive a vehicle up there.
That's fair. I feel like if you've never seen it, it's got to be like that's not right.
It doesn't even really feel right the first time you do it every year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but when you see like F350s pulling like 30-foot wheel shacks out there, you're like, shouldn't do that.
Yeah. And all you hear is coom, coom, coom. And you're like, that's actually healthy ice. And people are like, that's not right.
Yeah, when it's cracking, you're like, oh, it's growing, dude. It's growing ice.
So who determines to be the first person out on the ice? Like who's they have someone who tests it or something, or you just
No, it's
way less scientific than people just throw rocks from the boat ramp till they're like,
to be good.
I feel confident.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, no, we have things called spud bars. Basically, you go out and you whack it, and if it doesn't go through a couple times, you're like, yeah, it's safe.
Should be good.
Yeah. And usually it just takes one person in your group to be like, it's good. And everyone's like, okay, sure. But
It's
I mean,
almost
there's
better
like
to just
people have
blindly
full,
believe.
Yeah. But people have
It's
full
not. That's not a
businesses.
factual statement. Don't do that.
Don't do that. But yeah, it's just better to not know. But there's like there's people with full businesses based around just like pulling cars out of lakes when they go through. So I mean, it's a career path, really.
It's a career. Yeah. No, you should. You may make it. You may not.
Yeah. That's ice fishing, man. So hey, come on up.
Sign me up.
We'll drive the truck right out there. Your truck.
Yeah, yours. And right when we get on the ice, I'll look at you and be like, hey, you should roll those windows down. And he's like, what? It's cold. It's like, yeah, but if we go in, the cab needs
it's easier to open the door
so
if
we
the
can
window's
get out.
open. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true, though.
100%. Yeah.
I'm taking notes. You can't see it, though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll
Ice
need that
fishing
down in
notebook.
Florida.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd probably have the same reaction Pangrack did. But okay, anyways, back on topic. So
okay, yeah.
So for people, for people to know, you qualified for the Elite Series in November by winning the Bass Nation Championship down on Grand Lake. That's kind of, I mean, your home body of water is more 10 killer, isn't it?
Yeah. Grand is definitely not my home lake. I've done really well in the past on that lake, but the only time I go to Grand Lake is if there's a tournament there. It's not like a lake that I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go up there for the weekend just to have fun, play fishing and stuff. But with that being said, yeah, I do have a lot of history on the lake, but no, it's definitely not my home lake at all.
It's treated you very well, though. I mean, I was there when you won a Toyota series.
Yeah, it's treated me well. But it's one of those lakes that man, I either do really good or really bad. It's like it's one of those no in between. It's just I guess that's the way that I fish it, anyways.
So Pink, have you ever fished Oklahoma?
No, I've never fished in Oklahoma.
Just the hardest thing for me to grasp when like I'd be down there in the Toyota, I'd talk to Blake. I'm like, what am I looking for? Just because there's just no grass or anything. And then they all swear, we talked about this on the podcast before with Honor. They're all like, oh, there's different rock. And it's like, no, there's not. Like you just drive around, you're like, it's all just rock. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, so Blake, in that tournament in November, kind of like, what'd you key in on? Like, did you feel like it was going to go really well when you were going into it? Or were you just like, it's another tournament on Grand?
No, I've actually never fished Grand Lake in my life in November. So like most of our championships are like in September, or classics, whatever you want to call them. They're like in September, October. It's rare that I'm there like in October even. So November, I've never seen it. So I didn't really know what to expect going into it. But we got a bunch, like, I forget how many days it's been, but we were a month and a half, maybe 2 months without any kind of rain at all. So everything was, dry, and it was getting a little low. Then like 2 days before the tournament started, we got like, I want to say like 5 or 6 inches of rain. So just kind of, which I think that ended up helping me because it dirtied the water up just a little bit, not a whole lot, but it did dirty up the water just a little bit. It was so dry that like you go to the back of the creeks, you think there'd be water rolling in. It was already dried up, just how dry it's been for the last month and a half.
Oh, like it couldn't even make it to the lake.
Yes, exactly. But like so the main river did kind of push a little dirty water down, and I ended up catching them, like kind of jumping ahead. I ended up catching them on a big spinnerbait. If we wouldn't have got that rain, I don't know if I could have won, because I think the topwater guys would have most likely won the tournament. But every topwater bite I had in practice, they kept missing it, and that was when I went to throw that big spinnerbait. And I think just being a little bit dirty water, that fresh, I mean, it wasn't dirty, but you know what I mean? Just it changed up.
Did you feel like? Oh, sorry. I was just saying. Did you feel like you were really on them? Like that you were like, if this goes down, like I got a shot to win, or was it more like, man, if I can scrap together like a decent limit, I can work from here, kind of thing?
No. So like my practice, like I went out and practice, and like my first fish was like a 5-something pounder. It was a big one. And it was actually, I never had a fish that big for the rest of the week, even during the tournament. It was on a big spinner bait. And then I fished for the rest of the day. This is going to practice, and, caught some more fish, but nothing great. And then day 2 of practice, I caught another big one on a spinner bait. And then it was just kind of mediocre after that. And then I kind of like the third day of practice, which I think may have been the final day. I can't remember, but I caught another good fish on a spinner bait. I think I caught 2 that day. And so like I kind of was like, man, if I can just lock this big spinner bait in my hand, if I can catch 5 fish a day, I think I would be doing good. The problem was I didn't know if I could actually catch 5 of them a day doing it. And
Right.
And that's the honest God truth. I didn't know if I could catch 5.
But you doubled down in the tournament and just said, screw it, I'm going?
Yeah, pretty much. So
that's badass.
Did Jason Christie just give you like knucks? Like afterwards, was he just like, yeah?
He should have, yeah.
Because like
he owes you.
He's explaining, you're explaining all this, and I'm just like, that sounds like a tournament.
You're like, I watched this. I saw this.
Yeah, it sounds so easy to do too, but like it's so hard to lock something in your hand like and do that. Especially Adam's been on the lake. There's boat docks everywhere, and it's not. And our boat docks aren't like stationary. They're on floats and cables, and they're a pain in the butt to get around, and they take time and stuff. And trying to get a bait behind them is a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I give anyone like major props to Blake, obviously, but I give anyone major props if you can fish 10 docks in a row on that lake and all of your casts like effectively hit where you want them to, and then you get your bait back without being like, oh shoot, and you're like shaking it off a wire or something trying to get it back, because it's just cumbersome. It's so hard. So to be able to hit that many targets that fast to just try to get 5 bites, like that's very hard to do on that lake.
And with a spinner bait too, which is one of the hardest ones to throw behind them. So
yeah, because you're chucking it up under the back of docks.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So Blake, is that something that like suits your fishing style really well, or was that like, man, I just got to try this and hope to God it works? Like, because I know you kind of like that, shallow power game kind of thing, but it's like that spinnerbait bite, target casting. Is that like where you're like, dude, if they're doing it on this, I'm in good shape?
Yeah. Yes and no. I love just being able to try to place the bait, real accurate, whether it be a jig or plastic or frog, anything, like just being casting accurate. That's something I really do enjoy. Now, like if you talk to people who know me, like a bladed jig, chatterbait, those are one of my favorite baits to throw, and I'm so much more efficient with that around boat docks. The problem was I couldn't get no bites on it, and I don't know. We just had a bunch of, but we just had back-to-back weekends. There was 2 major tournament trails championships there. They had 150 boats back-to-back weekends on the lake, and I'm just assuming, I don't know this, I'm just assuming everybody who went up there and checked it was throwing some kind of top water or chatterbait around, and I don't think no one was really throwing or flipping a jig behind it. I don't think no one was throwing like a spinnerbait or something.
Yeah, which I remember you talking about on BTL. Most of the fish that hit your spinnerbait hit it on the fall, didn't they?
Yeah. I don't know if it mattered what color you was throwing or any of that stuff. Of course, I have my preferences, but like, you'd put it behind a float, say, and you'd flip your reel over, make one crank, and it would already have it more or less. I mean,
so it was more of just getting like that, something pushing water that fell slowly, which that's about the only bait that could do that.
Yes, I wouldn't even necessarily say slowly, because I mean, it was like, you'd hit, and it wasn't like a slow roll. It was, you'd get it in there, and you'd make it 2 or 3 cranks, and you'd be pulling it right back out of there, making another cast.
Jeez.
Yeah, and
basically flipping a spinnerbait.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, super cool. So like talking about the power fish and shallow game, kind of that's how you won grand. So heading into the Elite Series now, I think the next natural question to ask is like, how do you feel going into it, knowing You're probably gonna have to shake a minnow.
Oh, that's. I know you like to think I'm a big power fisherman. I am too, but I can do a little bit more than that too. So
All right.
He's got a couple more clubs.
Yeah, I'm excited to.
He
I'm
owns
excited to
4
show that.
spinning rods.
Did you like
Yeah.
that golf reference there, Bart? I think
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
just
good.
for you.
Yeah.
I think I got 6 now. Actually, I think we got 6 spinning rods.
That's good. That's good. Growing. That's called
So,
growth.
Yeah, exactly. Actually caught a good one on a spinning rod the other day in Florida. So I think
There
my
you go.
dad was shaking his head at me, but
Yeah.
Do you have a technique that you just like? You're like, dude, I can just not get on board with this. Like, if they're biting that, I might be in trouble here.
Ned rig.
Ned rig. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. I don't necessarily love a Ned rig either.
Yeah.
So how is your confidence level in like the smallmouth game?
Oh, I'm excited to get there. I just put it that way. I don't know what I'm.
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely not the best smallmouth fisherman for sure, but I'm excited to go up there and get to try to catch them.
When are your smallmouth tournaments? Do you have a gap before you go up there?
Yeah,
Because you guys are going what? Is it Champlain, St. Clair this year?
We're going to St. Clair and then the Mississippi River.
Oh, that's right. You're going to La Crosse again.
Yeah, there is a La Crosse one this year. Yeah.
Okay, well that's not too. I mean, St. Clair's super smallmouthy, obviously,
sure,
but
yeah.
But La Crosse is both, so it's like
yeah. So man, I'm really like being my rookie year. I'm very excited about this schedule because it's a lot of shallow water lakes and rivers type lakes, and I know it just sets up good for me, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm happy Bass kind of made the schedule the way they did after. I mean, it was fun seeing the Scope Slugfest last year, but kind of mixing it up a little bit more and doing a bunch of other stuff. Yeah, I mean, I guess walking into the Elite Series now, like, I guess Sobi would say, this is a question for Sobi. Hopes, fears, dreams. What are your hopes, fears, and dreams? If you can pick one of each.
Give us one of each of those.
Series.
One hope. Okay. Hope I can make the classic for next year. There's a good hope. And then
that's a good one.
Yeah. Of course, dream to win one. And then you said fears. That's the other one you said?
Yeah, fear.
Yeah, fears. Yeah.
Oh gosh. I try not to think about my fears.
Flashbacks.
Yeah. I guess, of course, you don't want to. No, not really. I mean, I don't fear to blank. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But it is something that's always in your mind, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't try to think about that stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't really have much. I mean, I do have fears, but yeah. No,
Would you say the alligators? You know, that's fair.
He's like, no, we're good.
Yeah.
He's from Oklahoma. They don't have gators.
He just spent
there,
a week in Florida, dude. He's chilling.
Yeah. There's plenty of gators. We've been seeing a bunch every day.
Yeah.
So have you been so heading into this Elite Series season, you've been talking to like any Elite Series guys, or who are you traveling with, or like kind of what's kind of the situation there? What are you set up for the year?
Yeah, so me and Luke Palmer, we're traveling together this year. Of course, I'm already down. Yeah, I'm already down here, of course, but we're rooming together anyways.
So we're gonna see you on some YouTube videos.
Yeah, I bet so. So I haven't even met Aaron yet, so I'm pretty excited about meeting him.
I believe Aaron's from, I think, Wisconsin. I believe, if I remember right. Yeah, I think him and I have chatted a handful of times. Good dude.
Cool. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Me and Luke, we were friends before he made the elites, and now we're both elites, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is sweet. Because I mean, granted, it'll be like your rookie year, but I mean, are you? Do you have connections to some other guys that are already on the tour, or no?
No, I'd say Luke's the main one.
Yeah. Okay. I know
And
it's like
I
the
mean,
fishing world's not that big, so it's like a lot of times, you know people
Yeah.
or you've done some stuff together, but
Yeah,
I mean, you
and
got to
Jason,
kind of know the other. Yeah, I was gonna say the other Oklahoma guys. Like you got to know Jason a little bit and a few of
yeah,
those other guys.
he doesn't live, I don't know, 35 minutes from the house. We fish 10-killer a lot together, like in the winter jackpots. This year, I didn't fish any of the jackpots over there. That's the first time in, gosh, I couldn't tell you how many years, just because I had so much stuff going that I couldn't even fish this winter, trying to get other stuff taken care of for this coming season. But
I,
I'm very
so is
excited
it
to
got to
see.
be good relief on your shoulders too, though, that you didn't have to pay $45,000 of entry fees to start the year?
I mean, yes and no. Only reason no, because I did win the Bass Nations Championship, and that's the part of the perk is if you win, they pay for your entry fees.
Gotcha. So you wouldn't have had to pay for them anyways. Did they do anything then with
They,
that?
they actually, so typically the Bass Nation champion, they get $30,000, and they actually gave us an extra $20,000 this year since there was no entry fees. And they didn't tell us that they were doing that. Like in all like the rules and the payout, none of that was listed. And then it came out, and they actually went ahead and did that. So like when I got the check, I was like, oh man, that's more than I expected. And so that was, I guess hats off for them for paying extra, I guess you could say.
Yeah. No, that's very cool of them. And then so I thought I heard something with an angling committee or something that you guys are actually doing $1,000 a tournament or something like that. Like what ended up shaking out with that so it's not completely entry free, or what is
No,
that situation? We haven't
it's
talked to anyone since then.
no, it's $10,000 now for the year, and then
Okay.
that kind of and that changed the payout and stuff a little bit. So, and that's all public too on Bass's website now too. So it's not like it's a secret or nothing like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I thought I had seen something that they went or that they had kind of added a little something. So I guess
Yeah,
the
and
payouts are a little different now.
yeah, and that was all. There was talk going back and forth, and what's the best route, and there was votes and stuff on it, and I did vote, but without getting into the details and kind of on that stuff. But being the rookie, it's kind of hard to say what I should and shouldn't do. When
Yeah,
these
you're just
guys
like,
have
I'm
been,
pumped to be here.
yeah, exactly. So, but no, exactly. I'm just pumped to be there, and you hear all this drama and stuff going on, but the reality is of it. Like I was talking, before the tournament, before I even won, is like, man, would you accept that offer if you want it? And you're like, man, I don't know with the payout, all these variables and stuff. Well, the second I won it, it took me about 20 seconds. I'm thinking we're going to the dang elite. Like
yeah.
the money aside, you're not even worried about that. It's the, I guess, the legacy of becoming an elite, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's a
So,
super cool moment. I'm excited to see it. I'm
yeah.
excited to see you be there. Well, and you have one on your home pond this year, don't you?
Oh
Or
yeah,
is it
Pinkalla.
Yeah,
Yep. So
That's
that's
dope.
yeah,
good
that's
year.
I'm very, very excited about that. I will say I don't fish it a whole lot in June. Um, I do fish it in June a lot, but it's always at night. We night fish it over there. Um, 10-killer is a big party lake, and so
So that's going to be an interesting event, you're
it's
saying?
going to be interesting. Yeah, because I mean everyone knows it's going to be an offshore deal, and there's so many party boats there. There's NSU College is in Tahlequah, and so there's always just so many boats, and like I said, it's offshore and there's bluff walls on both sides, so it's like a dang washing machine out there in the summertime. So that's why I only fish it at night or real early in the morning. So that it's gonna be exciting to see.
Oh, I like that. So is
That might
that
be
the
fun to
one?
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one you're most excited for? Or if you didn't have to pick 10-killer, where would you be really excited for this year?
Uh, Probably. I mean, St. Clair. Truthfully, like I don't not much of a smallmouth fisherman, but I'm excited to get to go up just because how everyone talks St. Clair up. I hear people saying St. Clair is the best smallmouth fishery in the country, and I hear people argue with it too about the St. Lawrence, and I don't know. You guys can probably say, but I'm excited for St. Clair.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have fun. The open weights last year were ridiculous. It's an aquarium. It's very it's very interesting. But yeah, that'll be a really cool one. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You just excited to get after it in Florida, dude, or what?
The two,
like, has it hit yet or not?
Oh well, you asked me which one I'm most excited about, like other than 10 killer. The two that I'm most worried about are in Florida. So kind of going back to so going back to like what you was talking about in Oklahoma, you drive around and you see all these rocks. I'm like, you got to look for the transitions, and you're saying, well, they all look the same. Well, we went to Toho the other day, just playing. We've been jumping around different lakes and stuff, but all it was grass. There's grass out in the freaking middle all the way to the bank. You're like, what in the heck? Like, how do you break something down this big? And so yeah, the Floridas are the two that I'm, I guess, most nervous, or the big question, the big unknown, not certain about.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a very serious question for you.
Yeah.
And it's Florida related. So here on PTB, we do fantasy fishing. And if you were a betting man, would you be picking yourself in fantasy fishing for the first Elite Series event of the year?
Absolutely. I'm not betting against myself ever.
I like this guy.
All right. Okay, follow-up question. Should I be betting on you?
I don't. Yeah, you probably get a bunch of points.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We like the honesty.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. So you may ask me in about just a couple days. Ask me Monday.
Yeah. All right. We'll check back in. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking. So we'll have to do it this year, Blake. But throughout the year, we'll have you on as a recurring guest or something, and just get updates on how a rookie season on the Elite Series is going. Because I think that'd be, I don't know, cool for our listeners and stuff to hear just about your, I don't know, just going through it, because it's an experience that a lot of us will never have or never really go through, like you're hopping into it through the nation side, where like you've fished some Toyotas and stuff like that around the country, but it's not like you went around the country, did all the opens, did all the college stuff and qualified,
Yeah, exactly. And that was always my, so I went to college at Oklahoma State, but I went to their tech side of it. So I actually didn't go to Stillwater, but once I got a job and stuff through my degree and whatnot, once I got things stable, I planned on fishing the opens. I was going to try to make it that way. Well, then once I got everything situated, that's when they changed it to the, you got to fish all 9 of them. The whole format completely changed. I'm like, well, crap, I got this new job, whatever. Yeah, I've had it for a couple of years and things are right. Man, I can't take off for 9 weeks to fish the open. So I kind of like put a big dagger in all my plans, because my whole plan was I was going to go to college, get a good job, and then I'm going to go fish the opens, and that's how we was going to make it. And, I mean, nine events, that's just not for everyone. And so then the Bass Nations came through and they changed their formatting up, and it was like, someone just like, you had this golden opportunity just kind of presented in front of you, and then just everything had to go right, and somehow it did go right, and now we're here. So yeah, it's insane. So yeah, I haven't got to go around the country like a lot of most people have fishing the opens, and so most people don't know who the heck I am. So it's I'm kind of that unknown, I guess. I'm pretty excited about that.
The Barb Nation's gonna know who you are now.
Yeah, we know Blake Caps.
Yeah. So, but Adam knows me. I've been fishing forever. More than most people in my state. Anyways, it's every weekend, so it's not like, I'm no one really knows who I am coming into the year, but statewide, people know who the heck I am. I guess you could say that. I've always been fishing and stuff. Just never got to go out like to the opens and stuff. So it's kind of funny. You look at my profile, I have like 0 tournaments and all that stuff, and I'm on the elites.
Well, it'd be cool to
watch.
A
lot of them are from the FLW side. I thought like Pangrack said it very well when you were on Bass Talk Live. Like, you can go through your profile and just kind of see your ascent. Like all of a sudden, always doing decent, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, win one, and then like, oh, now he's always in the top 10. Oh, now he's like winning, and then you win the Bass Nation, and it's like, well, that's a natural progression.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that, truthfully, you can go back and like look at the years that was from. Because, man, like in high school, I was working full time, to college, I was still working full time. And then finally, I got rid of, done with college, and then got to actually start free fishing. And that's when because I would work all week in school, and then I'd have a weekend. And I was like, well, heck, there's a BFL. We're going to go fish the BFL. I didn't get no practice, but we're going to fish it anyways. And now that things are finally, I got college done and school out of the way, and then started working and getting some things on my side taken care of, and then my winnings and all that started going up as well. So now that I have no job and this is all I do, I'm very excited and kind of can't wait to see what the future holds.
Yeah, now when you don't cash like 4 checks in a row, he'll be like, oh, maybe this theory was wrong.
Yeah. This was perfect.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, no, you're going to do great. Are you fishing anything else other than the elites? Like, are you doing anything around home or any BFLs or anything else?
I'm doing the Toyota Series as well, because the Toyota Series Championship is on Grand Lake in November.
Which Toyotas are you doing?
I'm going to do the Southern or the Southwesterns.
Okay.
Yep. So nice. I fished Rayburn, I guess, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and watched them smash them on that place.
Yeah. So how do you think that open's going to go the next few days?
It's kind of like I haven't looked at the weather down there, but back home it was like sleeting and snowing, and I don't know if that cold front hit them as well. I'm unsure of that, but yeah, they're going to smash them. Rayburn's been fishing really good, I guess.
Yeah. That's what I've seen too. Should be some really big fish weighed in.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be. That's a different lake. I don't know if you've been on it or not, but I enjoy Rayburn.
Not.
Yeah, it's a different place for sure. I didn't do any that good. I think I came in like 60th place for that Toyota Series a couple of weeks ago. I lost a good one on day 2 that really hurt me, but I've always enjoyed that lake. It's a lake you can go to and just catch fish.
That is something I've heard about it. It's just loaded with bass.
Yeah. You can catch them shallow, you can catch them deep. I mean, as deep as you want to go. So,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So fishing stuff aside, so now that you're going to be on the road so much, obviously this whole year you're going to be hitting tournaments and stuff. What's the drink of choice? What are you packing in the truck on these road trips? I know you're coming back to your great aunt's house. You're not just kicking back here. Talk to me.
Well, really, we've been I haven't just so Monday is my birthday, and that is the first or the second day, I guess, at practice is our off day for the elites. Says on Sunday we have official tournament, then Monday or practice, and that Monday is an off day because we have to do with I guess like not media and all the rules and all this stuff. I'm still unknown on a lot of this crap, and that's my birthday at the off day. So we're gonna have us a little party come Monday morning.
Oh yeah,
Monday, yeah. So drink of choice, I guess if you hand it to me, that's my choice. I'm not picky.
Okay, all right. That's fair. That's fair.
He's hung out with our crowd before. He likes the Busch Lights.
I'm a Busch Latte. So that's funny you said that about the Busch Lights kind of going sidetrack. So I won a BFL this year on the Arkansas River. And I got off of the water around like noon or 1 because I figured out I live right there on the Arkansas River too. And I seen what I needed to see. And I'm going to catch them or I'm not. So I got off the water and I went and grabbed me a 30-pack of Busch Light and went back to that. I went back to the house and started washing the boat and all that stuff. Well, one of my buddies was staying at the house too. And I was like, well, come on back to the house. I said, I'll wash your boat too. He said, all right. So he came on back home and he pulled up and pulled out a Busch Light, 30-pack of Busch Light. And it was when they was doing the farmer editions, the green ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we ended up having throwdown right there. It was a good day. Like 1 o'clock in summertime. And detailing the boats, drinking bush lattes, and we kept saying for the farmers. Well, and then I ended up winning the next day and was like, it's for the farmers. So for the rest of the year, it was for the farmers.
Awesome, dude. All right, dude. Well, every time if they put you on live, that's what I'm saying that every time.
Yeah, for the farmers. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that. That'll end up being a slogan or something for the farmers.
Get that on your rap, dude.
For the farmers, yeah.
Everyone will be like, what? This guy's from Muskegon, Oklahoma, or whatever it is.
Muskogee, yeah.
Muskogee, yeah. Same thing.
Oh,
I mean what you know.
Holy shit. Oh my
yeah,
God, dude.
No, that's good.
So badass.
All right, Blake, you got anything else you want to tell the peeps? Otherwise, we'll have you back on sometime, probably after the Florida swing, and we'll hear your thoughts on Florida fishing.
No, I'm just I'm ready for that next invite to come back up there.
Oh yeah, that's why I was asking when the smallmouth tournaments are. I was like, maybe you can get up here and we can do a little training before you head out to St. Clair. We'll do a little smallmouth fishing.
You ain't gonna have to twist my arm that hard. So I think that tournament's in August. So June, July, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, we can definitely have some fun. We'll figure out a time for you to come up and we'll get after it and have a good old time.
Heck yeah, maybe we can get a Sobi out there too.
Yeah, well, we'll see if we can track him down.
Yeah.
We'll get him.
We'll get him eventually.
All right, no, dude, we're pumped to have you on, and be sweet to have you on a couple more times because I think it's going to be fun to watch kind of your rookie season go down, and we're rooting for you, man, for real.
Man, I appreciate that, and man, thank you guys for having me on, and man, if you ever need anyone, you just give me a holler because I'd love to do it again.
Yeah, for sure. All righty, Blake. Well, good luck.
Hey,
have
give
a
us
good night,
give us a quick plug. What's your social media stuff? We'll try to get some people to follow you too.
Yeah, the Instagram's the main one. It's just this Blake_Caps 121. I'm actually in the process of getting some of that changed up too. So
yeah, all right.
You make the Elite Series, and you're like, man, that username I made in middle school doesn't make much sense anymore.
Exactly. I used to race motocross and stuff, and that was the racing number, the 121. So
well, you could just put 121 on your wrap, and everyone
just
would be
lean
like, "Oh,
into
it makes sense."
Yeah.
We'll yeah. So follow Blake on Instagram, or I'm sure you got Facebook and stuff too. We'll try to help you grow that, man. It's like I said, it's going to be fun to kind of watch it happen. So
Pink, we just need on the PTB Insta when Blake's doing good all year, like if he's on live or whatever, they show like a little leaderboard and he's in the lead. We need to, or like in the top 10, we need to take a screenshot and just post it on PTB and just write for the farmers.
Yeah,
every time.
121 for the farmers.
For the farmers, yeah.
All right, Blake, we'll chat with you later, man.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
All right, that was good. That was a good one.
Blake's a good dude. I think it's going to be super fun to watch. I don't know that I'm going to pick him in fantasy for Florida though. So
yeah, we'll do a little preview after we have our next guest on. Maybe we'll even do a little preview with them. But yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So hey, before we go on to the next
what do you got?
So we're going to do fantasy fishing again. We have a fantasy fishing group. I know that the people that have lost have dramatically failed in every way to come through on their punishments for those things. And we're trying to right the ship on that. I don't know what to tell you, but we are doing fantasy fishing again.
Let's just say it how it is, Pink. Some of us have integrity and some of us don't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's some shitty people. I don't know. But yeah, we're gonna keep it rolling. We love doing it with everybody. I did see, I don't know, Bart, have you looked at the fantasy fishing setup for this year?
No, I made the group. That's it.
So they had the drain the lake thing, and then they just had like the regular one, right?
Yep.
They now have a new category in fantasy fishing that is a very interesting format, and I don't know that we're gonna do it for PTB, but I think I'm gonna do it just like on my own. They have a new one called the Bassmaster Pick'em Challenge. It's like a new category of fantasy fishing. And all you have to do is for each tournament, there's 7 head-to-head matchups. and you just have to pick which one of those people is going to do better.
I like that a lot. That's 100% them leaning into this being gambled on one day.
For sure.
Like,
so
that's 100% them leading into trying to find a Vegas spread or something like that.
Yeah,
that's really cool. I like that.
Let me just give you so for this first St. John's River one, so there's 7 categories for each tournament. So this is how the first one shakes out. So the first matchup is reigning AOI versus reigning AOI. So you got Chris Johnston versus Trey McKinney. Then Florida Showdown, John Cox versus Drew Benton. Battle of the Beards is Robert G and Jacob Fouts. International Showdown, Taco Itu and Carl Jacobson.
This is legit. I like this a lot.
Battle of the Roommates is Justin Hamner and Patrick Walters. And then former St. John's champs, they put John Cruz up against Corey Johnston. And then Battle of the Tylers is matchup 7. It's Tyler Rivette and Tyler Williams. It's a very interesting format.
I hope all year one of the categories is just 2 people's first names.
It's the same. But here's the thing. All you have in this one to be successful, you just have to accurately pick the winner of those 2. So if you're really into the fantasy fishing stuff or you just like this kind of stuff, I would check it out because it's free to play anyway, so you might as well get in on it. But the PTB group is still just going to be on the regular fantasy fishing side where you pick from the buckets each week for your team. But anyway,
yeah, I'm pretty sure I got it open right now. I'll double check it tonight. But yeah, if people want to get in on it, get in on it.
And it starts next week.
Details. So yeah,
lock it in.
We'll have more details coming for everybody on that once we get everybody back. But now, our next guest for our SmackDown tonight, I don't know, double showdown, whatever we want to call it, double guest, triple guest. Well, we got 2 people.
Welcome to the party, boys.
Yeah, I'm just speaking on my ass now. I still haven't caught up on sleep. We got Griff and Waldo here.
What
This
up?
is going to be a little Crappie Chronicles situation, if you will. But yeah, so okay, we just had Blake Caps on.
Waldo knows Blake.
Yeah, Bart and I met him the same. No, you met him at the high school tournament.
Yeah, I knew Blake way before there. He was up there fishing with us because we had been like, "Hey, you should come fishing with us someday." And then he came up.
That was the first rendition of the one.
Yes, yes, it was the first rendition of the one. That was also Microwave Walleye. If you remember that.
That was Microwave Walleye. You even had some. You said it wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad. I tried it too.
Yep, it's pretty good. Definitely not up to Pink standards, but my standards are quite a bit lower. But yeah, no, that was the first time we met him. He's awesome. He's a hammer. I'm so happy he's made it to where he's at now. Like, it's pretty badass.
He's fired up, man. He's fired up.
It's pretty badass seeing a guy that was just fishing derbies like the rest of us, our age, make it all the way up there.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool seeing that.
Well, and it's cool he's got connections up here. So it's like, it's not just the Oklahoma dude. There's like a handful of Minnesota guys that are like, I know him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's sick. Yeah, he's a great guy. I hope he absolutely kills it this year.
Yeah. So now, all right. So with the whole Chronicles crew being on, this is the comeback on Pass the Barb. I was debating this when I was driving around today. Do we want to talk exactly about what we just did or not?
Yeah, this is a PTB exclusive.
So.
Yeah,
PTB
for our
exclusive.
Yeah, so for the PTB listeners, they can. So we'll just talk about it freely. It'll
make it way better.
Yeah,
okay, let's just.
I would say let's leave out. I would say this. This is the ground rules.
All right.
Let's leave out necessarily species, but we can talk about the rest. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah.
Leave out certain species.
Certain. I mean, I feel like some of them we can talk about, but
yeah.
Yes, some of them, yes, but
I'll let you.
Okay.
Bart,
all right.
Bart
anyway,
actually, whatever. I guess I don't really care that much.
Okay, so here's the deal. So we're basically at a point now where we've essentially wrapped up for this year. We've filmed a ton of crazy shit all year long, and we're kind of on the back side of it now. We got a couple events and some things happening, but for the most part, like, we're just chilling, right? I mean,
other than me, I'm editing.
Well, other than but as far as the
Everything's
fishing
filmed.
side of things go.
Yeah, everything's filmed right now. We have, I counted today, I think we have 8 episodes coming out. So my plan is,
you're behind a computer.
Yeah, I'm behind a computer, and I don't believe I'll have a video ready for tomorrow. So what'll probably happen is everything will start coming out Sunday or Monday next week, and then it'll be basically 2 videos a week until we run out of videos, because I'm just going to be pumping out videos, not going to be distracted by like, oh, I need to go meet Griff on this lake right now. I'll just be sitting down editing. So we'll have kind of 2 videos a week rolling in. So
yeah, I'm going to chase some other species, I think.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I might go dabble with that Mille Lacs perch deal just to say I did it.
Yeah, I was over at Brett Carlson's house earlier tonight. For those who don't know, that's kind of the voiceovers for the last year and a half, who's been helping us with them.
Also does tour level gold.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Awesome outdoor writer. He does voice work for a bunch of stuff. He's awesome. Huge outdoor enthusiast. And Waldo, when I got to his house, he was like, "So are any of you guys? I'm surprised you haven't partook in the fantastic Mille Lacs perch bite that's going on that everybody seems to be talking about."
Well, I mean, they're not that big. And so like
they look big though.
They're round.
The biggest one I've heard of is 14 1/4.
Yeah, but that's still a big perch.
It's still a big perch, but compared to what we did last year and to what
I've that's done a totally different place.
It is. They're both totally different places, and it's cool that this one is so close to home. I just really know that the reason why I want to go this weekend is because I want to find spots that are really good, so that next year when they are 15s, then I can beat the crap out of 15s. So it's more so a scouting mission and to kind of learn what the perch do out there, because I've never fished perch on Mille Lacs.
The numbers sound insane though. It's not just incredible. Like
I know Nick Lindner just did a video, and I mean he had fish coming through like all day, it seemed.
Yeah. Well, I mean when I was there for the smallmouth tournament this summer, I got a pretty good idea that the perch bite was going to be good, because I was just everywhere I was scoping, I was just like, oh my god, there's perch everywhere.
Oh yeah. This spring when I was out there for opener, I mean, a couple of the spots that we fished, our jerk baits, like they were covered in perch. I mean, it was insane. You would snag so many.
Yeah. The bait level in that lake is very good right now.
Yeah, Tony caught the smallest smallmouth I've ever seen in my life. It was literally half the size of the jerk bait.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, all right, we'll dive into.
So it's been a year, I think, since we did this, right?
Yeah, so we can kind of
at least.
Well, actually, it might be. Did we? I don't even know if we had him on last winter. It might be 2 years.
So bowstring.
No, it would be 2 years. We didn't do last year.
Okay. So we got some things to catch up on. I mean, yeah. Okay, well, let's basically forget about the last year, because I feel like anyone that follows the Crappie Chronicles already knows what happened then. So, so this year, basically going into this year, you've probably seen up until this point. So the last video that dropped was actually from. Are we into January yet with the videos? So for December,
the next video will still be December too, actually.
So so we put out a ton of content from last year this fall. Maybe get into that.
We knew, So, and I will preface this too by saying, so for all the people, our goal through this year is to get completely caught up, so that we're just posting stuff that's timely.
Fresh.
But also, we needed to somewhat hang on to the footage we had as almost like a bit of a self-defense mechanism, in the sense of we need to be able to film and go do our thing and not have a bunch of people show up, which we're pumped everyone's catching big crappies, but if we're going to put a couple really big ones on camera.
We had some specific lakes that.
Yes, exactly. So we took a little bit of time. So now people are going to start seeing all that stuff. So the next videos will be around Christmas, and then the next ones will be January. And then we got super sick and we didn't film for a while. And then Waldo was in Aruba. So that coincided at the same time. Yeah.
It was a very seemingly busy year, even though it didn't maybe feel like that we had, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was just kind of like the
it
vibe
went
for
by
me.
super fast.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it just kind of was like, holy shit, like we're at the end already, you know?
Yeah.
And I think
I would
for
say it was
people that,
extremely busy, but I think we're used to it now.
yeah, I guess. But I think
Yeah.
for people watching, right? So,
Yeah.
because we didn't,
I would
we didn't
love to know where an average viewer's brain is at right now with the videos, because mine is
who knows? Yeah.
not.
But,
Yeah,
like,
I don't even know
not
where
there.
we're at.
I don't even remember half the stuff that we did. I have to watch the video too.
like, I'm
Right?
shocked.
You're
we
like,
failed.
oh yeah.
I was like, oh yeah.
Forgot about
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah.
So for people that have followed along with the Crappie Chronicles with this, so this was the 5th year of this. And we didn't, I guess, do this last year where we had everybody on. So the new thing the past 2 years has been this like expose the ice thing. So if you've been watching along, like we kind of started this kind of like spurt. What do we want? How do you even describe it? Kind of like a side.
I say it's a seminar
series?
style video
It's a
series.
Venomar video seminar.
Yeah, seminar.
Well,
Yeah,
it was
seminar
kind of
stuff.
to answer everybody's questions because we get 9 million of them. So
Okay,
we're like, well,
so yeah,
let's
maybe-
I got the glove question last week.
let's
Did
put
you
it in a
really?
video. for
Oh
people.
yeah. And I also got the question, did you ever find your gloves last week as well?
That's from season 1.
Yeah.
You're like,
So
They're
that
not
guy,
caught up yet.
Long time follower.
Yeah. So anyway, so this expose the ice thing was kind of new. It kind of gained some serious traction last year, and then we did it again. But if you haven't been seeing those, it is kind of a cool, like, it's interesting to create them. But it's like, I think kind of a cool thing that we're like adding on now. Like, I think it gives people that want more information a lot more information, which is kind of dope. But I think the funniest part of the whole thing is how we've been doing it. And I don't know that anyone's ever talked about that. So I think we should. Like, how many of those videos? So we do all of them in one day.
Yeah.
And we're normally try to be very planned.
No.
No.
And I wish
we try.
We
to be
try
planned.
this year. We really tried, like, and it's still. It was still pretty planned.
Janky. Like, I wish we would have almost done like a behind the scenes of it, because it's like the jankiest looking setup. Like, it's like so lame, but then the videos are actually good.
Well,
you've also forgotten that. So the setup we originally last year, it was
unnecessary.
So
it
was unnecessary, yes, because we thought we needed the blackout curtains and stuff to deflect the light. So then this year, Waldo and I went there and we're like, remember the blackout curtains from last year? And we're like, oh yeah, I remember how we did that. And we went and set the whole thing up. And then we did the lights, and then we remembered, oh yeah, we didn't even use these curtains last year because the light was wrong.
Yeah.
So we wasted an hour just setting the curtains, and then we're like, God, I forgot we didn't even do that. So yeah, people saw that we film them in the top of Thorn. So if people ever saw
upstairs,
we shut down their whole little seminar classroom that they have above the bait shop section.
And then we just get like a case of energy drinks, and we're like, all right.
Yep.
And Jimmy
I
John's.
mean, we're there from open to close. Like,
and normally they're there about an hour extra where we're like, oh, we're almost done.
Yeah.
We're not. We're like, dude,
we're
we
not
haven't even started the last
They hate
video
it so
yet.
much. We're just like, what the fuck are these guys doing?
Yeah.
But I think it's cool. Like, it's cool to see it when it's done, because you know, like, how like chaotic the day was, and you're like,
well, yeah, I mean, we got
had?
three desk lamps pointing at us. You know, there's one magnetic one stuck to the ceiling. There's
It was duct tape to the ceiling.
Or duct tape,
down.
sorry.
Yeah.
Falls down almost, wails somebody on the head. Like, it was a good time. But like you said, it turned out like it was studio, you know?
Yeah. I would say, like, envision doing like a PowerPoint presentation for like a class project, but then doing like 10 of them in one day. That's what it's like.
Yeah.
And in that PowerPoint presentation, because the way we do it is whoever you're talking with, you just do your segments while you're up there. So imagine doing the PowerPoint presentations, and instead of you doing slides 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you do slides 1, 2, 5, 6, 9, 12.
But you don't
then
get to
you're
hear
like-
the rest of the presentation till after you're done.
Yes. So you're like, I really hope that comes together.
Right. Hopefully that ties
It's
in.
crazy. It's crazy, man. But it's fun
It's
to
actually
like.
worked out really well, though.
I'm shocked at how good they turn out. How it
Yes.
like seemingly is going.
Yeah.
Right.
Like they turn
The
out
whole
really
time,
freaking good.
like this year when we were filming them, I'm like, this is terrible. We should not be doing this right now. And then I get back and edit them and I go through them and I watch them. I'm like, oh, huh. That
pretty
worked.
good.
Yeah. Not terrible.
Don't get us wrong. They're good. It's legit. Like the information's great. Like it's not like it's bad info. It's just like the way it's happens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way we do it to formulate it in our brains, when you're actually doing it, you're like, this makes no sense.
Yeah.
And then it gets put together and you're like, oh, it made sense. It's kind of shocking every
Yeah,
time.
it really
Almost
is.
like the videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway,
but-
hopefully everyone's loving the Expose the Ice stuff because it is fun. It's just like, man.
yeah,
it
we
is-
need more topics for those ones too. So we've been, for people who do have in-depth questions, ask them, especially in the comments of Chronicle videos or Expose the Ice videos. And because we'll like keep a list and then
Yeah.
we'll be like, okay, these ones always keep coming up. Let's do a video on it. So that's how
just
we get
stop
a lot
asking
of those
which
topics.
reels we use. Just stop asking that question.
You gotta watch the Expose the Ice videos. We explain it every time.
And they're the same. They don't change.
Yeah, they don't change. I think
Exactly.
we've literally made one change with reels in
And
the
it was
last.
just like color.
Yeah, it was the
They
color,
didn't change the name.
and then they came out with the Masago, and that is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Besides that, same schoolie,
Yeah.
same spooler elite.
Guess what? It's gonna squeak.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's gonna squeak.
That's what it does.
Well, unless
No, you can't. Yeah, you
No,
can't.
I
change
wasn't
that
gonna-
part.
that we can't talk about.
That one we can't tell.
But yes.
But no, so heading into the season of the Chronicle videos, so we'll I guess we can kind of go through this year and just talk about memories or random things that happened for people behind the scenes. So the first video of season 5 was Griff catching that 17.5. Him and I went out, and that was right after the St. Paul Ice show. It was literally the day after the St. Paul Ice show.
Yeah, it was like like literally right after.
It was literally the next morning because we drove back from the St. Paul show, and that's also why Griff and I are like so groggy at the beginning of the video, is we're just legitimately exhausted, and like, well, we might catch a fish today.
And St. Paul was sick this year, by the way.
Yeah, it was dope.
It was super fun, dude. Like we had a lot of people come out, which was super fun for us.
It was
I
fun
mean,
hanging out in Thorn, wouldn't you say, guys? Just
Oh my
having
God,
people
absolutely.
roll in the whole time.
Yeah,
It was
I
just
like
good to see
being
the
able
crowd
to
like
be in a
that
different
again.
Booth.
yeah. There was a ton of people there, man. Like,
Yeah, it hasn't been like that for a few years, and it was good to see.
mhm.
Yeah, it was really good to see. It was nice being able to meander the show a lot more this year for me and
Sure.
work a different booth.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I guess that was a major change, huh?
Yeah, major change. First time in like 7 or 8 years, something like that.
That you weren't all vexed up.
Yep. It was
Mhm.
pretty crazy. It was nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got to bounce around and chat with
yeah.
everybody.
Yeah, I actually felt like I got to see the whole show.
Yeah.
Man, it's changed in 7 years, boys.
Ain't like it used to be, I tell you. Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. No,
Yeah.
St. Paul was fun. But yeah, okay. So you guys go out, you pop that big one.
Yeah. And that so I think, Griff, you could probably explain this as well. You can kind of see it in the video, but how windy was it when we got into that bite flurry?
I don't know,
Because
probably.
I
I don't know,
remember
it was
like
sustained like 20, and then probably up to 30-mile-an-hour gusts. I mean, you can watch in the video my hummingbird starts sliding away because it's getting blown by the wind. As I'm standing, I had to stop it with my foot.
yeah, there's no snow on the
It was
ice.
pretty windy, but yeah, I set it down and I just watched in the video. You just see my hummingbird taking off, and I was like, "Oh crap!" But yeah, I'd say 20 for sure with 30-mile-an-hour gusts. It was cooking pretty good.
Yeah.
I wish you would have showed the text thread of our group chat on the video from that day, because that was pretty funny. You were constantly updating us, and in between updates, it was, oh my God, it is so windy.
Yeah.
And Pink and I are sitting in the office like, oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could work.
I was
When we
texting
got there, there was
updates because
barely any wind.
No, there was zero wind. And then that
Yeah,
front came
that
through
front
and we were
started
like,
moving.
wow.
Yep.
Yeah. I think that was the weirdest part about this year, and probably why it felt so different, was that there was so many days that we didn't all fish together.
Yeah.
Compared
it was
to
very
years previous.
Even editing it for me, man, it's so discombobulated.
Yeah.
Just because of like the way the holidays laid out, the way people got randomly sick, and then a lot of the like good days happened during the week. Like, it was just a weird, and that's, people see that in the next few videos too, but it was a weird shift of that. It's just
different vibe, I think. But yeah, because like
it was weird.
Me and Waldo work like regular jobs. We're like have to be there most of the time or whatever.
Yeah, banker's hours.
Yeah, so it's like it's actually hard to like coordinate all this stuff. Like it really is.
Yeah, coordinating this is not easy, that's for sure. Pink and I both have to bank a bunch of time off, and we have to make 2-week requests. It's just not easy.
And this year we just had crappy weather and like shitty pressure systems, went during the weekend when you guys were there.
Yeah,
it was always
that was the worst.
Shitty. Yeah, because like whenever Pink and I could go, it was
shit.
Yeah. I mean, that day you and I hiked back into that backwater, it was like negative 10 in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I went there again.
I think I was
and
editing that day.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, that stuff, it sucked to be on that side of it, where it's like you're still out there trying to make it happen and do it, but it's like the writing's kind of on the wall on those days where you're like, it is absolutely not going to go down today, but we have to try.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
Yeah. And then
weird year.
Yeah. Well, and then so Hayward, we went to that. That was right after Griff and I went and caught that one.
Mm-hmm.
Then we pack up, run to Hayward. That was a very fun trip. It was fun to finally be on the road again.
Yeah, it was fun.
Doing our thing.
Yeah. I wish I was there the whole time, but again, work scenario. I couldn't get out.
And that was
lucky enough for you though. You showed up when it was 30 degrees. You just missed out when it was negative 20 and awful.
Yeah, me and Griff fished. I think that was honestly probably the coldest day of fishing I've ever experienced. Was that day you and me, Griff, went out.
Yeah, I looked over at Pink and I just go, "Hey, there's a bunch in my hole. You want to come catch them?" Because I didn't want to even fish anymore. I was like, "It's that cold." I'm like, "But there's a lot of them here if you want to catch them."
Dude, I think I'm going to probably get this printed at some point just so I never forget it. But there's an awesome photo that Luke took of you standing there wearing my mittens, and I'm fishing with like your rod in your hole with your flasher. And you're just standing there like, so with your mittens on, like just not doing anything. I'm like, I'm getting that printed, dude. But yeah, it was so cold, man. It was brutal.
That's awesome.
Hayward was fun, dude. Like, it was like the only like solid stretch of days where we just honestly this year just like went fishing, and it was so fun, dude.
Yep.
Yeah, it was very demoralizing at times too, where we walked around a couple of those lakes where you're just like, oh my God, there's nothing in this lake. Like, the surveys are great, and we're like, they're here. And then all of a sudden they're just like, hello. And you're like, what?
I don't know. I'd say we had a couple demoralizing days, though. It was either we were sitting on top of the biggest crappies in the state for hours and they wouldn't bite, or it was, I don't think there's a fish that exists in this lake when we whacked them a week ago.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it was brutal. And it was like that, like, every other day.
Well, when I would say, I think when we were in Hayward, the most demoralizing thing that like, it's almost like the like little bit of addiction we have with filming this is that like when a bite goes down type thing. But Pink and Griff, obviously, you guys were with me. That it would have been our second day in Hayward, because the first day you guys fished a little bit, but we mainly just sampled ice. That second day we're like all gung-ho, like, yeah, we're gonna catch them, you know, we're gonna do this. And then we go out and the first 2 lakes are terrible. And then the third lake, we're like, surely the third lake will be better. And I'm so happy we pulled the plug and went there, because we were about to go somewhere else. And we're like, just kind of had the fuck it moment. I think Griff literally said fuck it. And we went there. And we walk around that whole lake for an hour. And I think all of us were probably consecutively thinking at the same time, this was a tremendous mistake. Why are we out here? We now have no video, and we only
and
have
it was
2
like a
days
long
left.
drive to get in there, and the whole thing, like it was like
And then we watched that whole lake come to life
in the last moments of daylight.
The sun had set, like it was 4:20. The sun had set.
Yeah.
And then just mayhem for 20 minutes.
And I think if you watch the videos, like it's probably clear, like, oh wow, these sunset bites or whatever. But like having experience like days in a row where you're like cannot catch a fish till the last 10 minutes of daylight. It's
you couldn't even find them half the time.
Real shitty.
Yeah,
like,
it was very weird from my perspective, because while that was going on, I was at work. So I'm sitting there like, what
and
are we doing?
I hate my life. Like, and then we're like, guess what? Smoked them.
Yeah. And I was like, sounds about right.
Pretty much what it was.
We did it.
Yeah,
but it was very weird, because like it was like a 20-minute span of text messages where it's, why are we here? To, we blasted them as I'm on my way driving to you guys, because like I'm driving, I'm like, gosh, maybe Bart's gonna just tell me to turn around and we're coming home or something. It was bad.
Yeah, no, it turned out good. It was a lot of fun. And then we found a lake or two that we could catch them during the day, but the whole trial and error process was like that's a fun part of those trips too, though, where you're just like trying to figure it out.
But we were doing that. It wasn't like someone was just like, here's the 10 lakes you should go do it.
No, it was like we researched this and did it.
And to be honest with you, it's a lot of times it's like when we chase giants back here at home, because like there's a large portion of the day where we meander around, and a lot of people who don't fish with us don't understand that we go to the first spot, we don't catch them, and then we just start meandering. And like even when you guys took Johnson out, it was the same thing. You went, you didn't find any, and then all of a sudden you just land on top of them, and it's just out of nowhere.
It's a process.
Yeah, it's a huge process, and it's an emotional roller coaster of us saying we really suck at this, and then holy crap, we're not bad. We found them.
That's what makes the days like the Smashing 16s video from last year that we put out, where like Waldo and I went out, like, because we've joked about having a step counter or a hole counter. And like the Hayward day, the holes would have been 300 to 400. And I don't know how many steps. I don't know how to equate that. Man. It's a lot. Like miles. Yeah, like 6 to 10 miles probably. And then
I had my watch
the day Waldo and I went out Smashing 16s, it's like 3 holes, 10 steps. Yeah. Just like a magical day where you drill a hole and you're like, oh my God, they're right here. Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, and guess what? I also want to bite. And you're like, no way.
Yeah.
But the problem with the way that we do it is that it's like when you get there on a day when it sucks, like I feel like most people would be like, wow, we should do anything else. And we're like, it only takes 5 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. That is totally the worst part about it.
So then we keep walking around where at like 11, we all know like, yeah, we should probably just go home. But we're like, but I'm still going to walk around.
But what if it happens today?
Yeah. Like, what if this one more hole, they're there?
What if it happened?
Yeah, because we've had it happen so many times now.
I know. It's honestly kind of gross how many times it happens that way.
I also do enjoy though the days where we are like, it could be the next hole, and then it like we drill that next hole and we're like, oh my god, they're right there.
It actually is.
and then-
Yes.
Yeah, and then someone walks at them and drills, and they all vanquish, and we're like, now I'm going.
Now we
Yes. Yes.
That's the confirmation I needed. I did drill the right hole. They left, and now I will leave because
Or
there's
how
no
many
hope.
times we start on our starting spot and then meander around the whole
go
way
everywhere else.
and then end up back at the starting spot and then make one little change and boom, they're there.
Juice. You're like, yep, on them.
Yes.
I think we did that while we were where we were.
Yeah.
Literally like 7 miles around that lake to come back to right where we were, but go 75 yards the other way. And we're like, oh, here's every fish in the lake.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Literally.
So dumb.
And not a single
Every
hole
fish
drilled.
in the lake that wasn't a perch.
Yes,
That is
correct.
true.
There was perch and other stuff in the rest of the lake, but what we were looking for, well, I guess we got,
Yeah.
they were over there.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll work up to that point. So right now we're
so
at
Hayward was lit. Hayward was lit.
Hayward
Yeah,
was super
Hayward
cool,
was sweet.
super fun.
And I was par for the course. That so like I think a lot of people obviously like know where Hayward is or like have been there in the summer or whatever. But in the wintertime, there's not a lot going on in Hayward, specifically like in the town, right? There's
except
a lot of
the quick trip.
snowmobiling. Yeah, but I mean, there's
especially
like
when there's
winter
no
sport.
snow.
Yeah. So like we go there, and of course we take the like, yo, let's take our picture at the Fishing Hall of Fame because like that's dope. And of course it's like closed, so we're just like standing by the fence, like kind of by it. I was like, that seems about right for us.
It's so funny.
Stay out there with the riffraff, you know. And but that was sick. It was so fun
With the
being out there
electric
in the
fence.
wintertime and everything. Yeah. Hayward's dope.
Yeah, had a lot of fun out there. So actually the one thing that didn't make camera, we scolded Luke too about this too for all of you.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Pink knows exactly where I'm going. So
Oh yeah.
Griff and Waldo are long
We have a new
asleep
camera
on the
guy.
couch. Yeah. We have a new camera guy, Luke 2. Luke 1 was 2 years ago. We had Logan last year, and this year's
Shout
Luke
out
2.
Luke 1.
Yep. Shout out Luke 1, the OG. And Luke 2 was his we mainly hired him for the trip we just went on, but this was like, all right, get with us, let's go through the whole
This was his
process.
rookie debut.
Yeah, rookie debut. We're like
Initiation.
training. Yeah. And at this point in night, it's like not probably 10, 11-ish. Griff and
It's
Waldo are long asleep and on the couch, like 25 feet from us.
Passed out.
Not even
Yeah.
25 feet, maybe
Yeah.
15.
Yeah,
We're in
they're
the
very
same room. It's like the kitchen and the living room are like one.
yeah, they're very asleep. We're filming a frozen kitchen, and we got Hayden and Damien over having a couple beers while we're doing it. So we're just chatting, and we had bought the frozen dessert pizza at the grocery store in town, and for my segment of the cooking, I was like, I'm gonna make this frozen dessert pizza.
You thought it would be funny. That's how
And
this
it
all
wa-
started. It was.
and it was very funny.
But it could have been.
It could have been
Actually,
exponential.
what happened?
What happened was
excellent.
very funny. Exactly how it should have happened.
Yeah.
But it didn't get filmed because Luke 2 just started laughing.
So okay, so here's how this plays out. So all of when we film these frozen kitchen things, they're always in the middle of the goddamn night because we go and fish all day. We come back. Generally, somebody makes like a frozen pizza, or we have some sort of like food. And then
Normally
we start
chips and salsa.
Yeah. And so then we start filming this thing at like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, whatever. And then it's a process. It doesn't get done till like midnight, 1 a.m. type of thing. And so whatever. I'm like, I would say like 50% through the cooking part. Bart's filming it, whatever. It's going good. Luke 2 is just kind of grabbing some B-roll shots or whatever, kind of getting a feel for the whole thing. And Bart puts this pizza in the oven, this dessert thing in the oven, but in the process of it, dumps like half a cup of the cinnamon off of the pizza into the bottom of the oven that was at like 400 some degrees, which obviously started burning like instantly. So he closed the oven the entire time. I don't know if you can see it in the video of the cooking, but there is just smoke pumping out the back of this oven. And then like the whole house is full of smoke. The fire alarms are all going off. Every single one in the whole house. And it is like a total cluster. And Luke too is doing nothing at all. He's just sitting there laughing.
Besides laughing. It was funny.
Like, it was hilarious, but it was like we had it. How cold is it? It's like -15 outside. We had all the doors in the whole house open, the windows, everything, trying to air this place out.
And mind you, Pink and I are telling this story because Griff and Waldo did not flinch.
They were asleep.
They didn't roll over.
And they were like in the same room. There's all of the fire alarms were going off. We even talked about it later. We're like, if there was actually a fire, they are dead. Like, no question.
Yeah. No, if there's a fire in their house, I would, and you're like, oh, someone will wake up. They won't.
No.
Like, it's
Griff and I got after it, and we were past.
Yeah,
out.
you guys hit it pretty hard that night.
Yeah, we hit it pretty hard that night. We were out cold.
Yeah, they weren't moving.
Yeah, no, stone cold.
Anyways, we got it all out, and all the smoke was gone. And we were laughing. We're like, oh, Luke, you got that, right? And he's like, no. We're like, what?
Like literally all your whole gig is just record some stuff, something.
Yeah. But the good news is he got everything like late for this most recent trip. He got a lot more. So we got all that stuff. But yeah, we did miss a behind the scenes thing that was very funny, was just so much smoke in a house.
So much. But I will say the nice thing was that we really ramped it up on the hazing after that on Luke too.
We did. That's where we're like, we need to haze way more.
I will say Luke was dialed this last trip.
He was.
And Luke 2 is a great.
Luke 2
is an awesome sport. He's great. He's awesome. Everybody should follow him on Instagram and everything. He's very good at what he does. But yeah, we have to give him. We'll endlessly give him shit about that one because we're like, yeah. That and all his hoes.
Oh yeah, he's got a lot of hoes apparently.
He's like the worst shit talker ever.
He is. It's great.
He's weak. He's got a lot of weak game, but it's fine.
Yeah, he's like, oh hey Waldo, yeah, you didn't catch one yet? It's like, wow, what a burn.
And then everyone's like, guess what, Luke? I'll kill you. How about that?
He's like, oh okay.
Yeah, it did piss me off. So then I caught 3. I was like, okay, I'm done.
It was funny.
Yeah, it was funny. But yes, he definitely got into it after. So it's been fun, like kind of like having a new guy around, though. I think.
Yeah. No, it's been good.
Yeah. No, so we'll get into this most recent trip in a sec. So the next 2 videos that'll come out, we won't even talk about it that much, just because I also don't think you guys have any idea of anything really that's coming, just because it's also mishmashed, except Griff and I got
it's Metro stuff.
Yeah, so next one's Metro stuff. We do have a PB in one of the videos. One of us breaks a PB.
Super dope.
But then also, Griff probably forgot about this a bit. You remember you and I fished and it rained like 3/4 of an inch one day?
Yes. Is that the day I had Lily with us?
That is the day you had Lily with us. That is coming out. That's in the next video. So for people that don't know, Griff and I went out and he had his daughter Lily, and I was like, it says it's not supposed to rain till like noon or 3, and he's like, yeah, I think she'll be all right. We literally got on the lake and it was like, I'm gonna pour now, and we set up
and pour. It was like, holy crap.
Dude, we set up the Yukon for her, and we're like, oh, we'll just put her in the Yukon and she can jig in a hole, because there was little bluegills and crappies swimming everywhere. So we set it up, and about like 2 minutes later, all we hear is, Dad, look at this tornado. And we come in, and there is just water geysering down her hole.
And she just sat there eating Cheetos on the chair, just watching it. She didn't care at all. She's like, that's kind of cool, but yeah, it was funny. I was like, what?
We were like, we should probably get off this lake. This ice is a hair sketchy, actually.
Oh my God.
So we left that one, but yeah. And then this will be in the video too. So then Griff leaves with Lily, because of, I mean, she's soaked instantly.
Right.
Yeah.
So Luke and I go out. Well, and this is a great preamble for the trip we were just on. I don't even know if Pink knows this part either. But so Luke forgot his boots on this day it rained. But he had like those extra tough boots, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But as you also know, those seams are not sealed. Like they leak really badly, actually.
For those who don't know, they're literally like low calf,
The
or
ankle
high
boots.
ankle,
Yeah.
rubber rain boots.
Yeah, they're great if it's raining, terrible if you're in submerged water.
Yeah.
They're good when they're new.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so Luke and I go
Yeah.
to this next lake, and he's wearing those boots, and every hour he would just take them off and just pour water out of his boot.
I don't know how his feet weren't frozen.
Well, we were moving a lot, so they were moving, but he was
raining.
very cold when we got off. But then, so preamble to the trip we just took, and we're telling all the PTB listeners, aren't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
we
we
can
just got back from Montana. So we went. So this is the best part of this, Pink. So he forgets the boots, and he's like, "I'm never forgetting my boots again, dude. Like, I got it." So we're packing up to leave for Montana. First thing he does when he gets to my house, walks up to me, he goes, "I got my boots." I'm like, "Cool, good for you." Put them in the car. We pack up everything, all the deal. We drive to
We were in
Montana.
South Dakota.
Yeah. Oh, we're in about western South Dakota at this point. And he looks at me and he goes, "I don't know." No, actually, no, he didn't. He didn't realize it till we got to the house. So we ended up staying in Wyoming for the first part of this trip. So we get to Wyoming, and we're unpacking everything, jaw jacking. We got Griff and Waldo had gotten there already. The Coxes were there, and then Owen Wilcox had just gotten there too. So we're all chatting, just having a couple beers, chilling. And we had emptied the vehicles, and Luke comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, did you see my boots?" And I was like, "No, you told me at the house you had the boots. I assumed you then put the boots in the car like I told you to." And he's like, "Give me your keys." So I give him the keys. He goes out and he comes back about 5 minutes later. And he's like, "So my boots are in my car at your house right now."
And this is where it gets good. He then proceeds to look at me and is like, "Well, what do I do? And I'm like, "I got an extra pair of boots, but they're size 10s, dude. Like, they're not gonna fit." And he's like, "Oh, I think I'll make them work." I'm like, "Dude, they are not gonna fit. They're winter boots. If you have a big foot fitting it into a small boot, it don't work like a tennis shoe."
Yeah.
So
And
then, So then, by the next morning, we realized that we had your boots.
Yeah.
Pink.
So then Luke wore your boots, and that's how we found the GoPro you left for us too.
Yeah.
Because he put his foot in the boot at the ramp, and he goes, "What is this?" And he pulls it out. He's like,
GoPro.
"Oh, there's a GoPro." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Say
I
that.
love that they're not even his boots. He's like, "What's wrong with these?" Because I packed the GoPro in the boot, so I knew that it would go along. Because I was like, so I had to stop at Waldo's house. So the way that this played out was you guys were gonna go like 5 days ahead of me because I couldn't get it off enough of days from work to like go for the whole trip because it was like 11 days long.
Yeah.
So I drive down to Waldo's house with like all my crap, like all my fishing gear basically, and just dump it at his house on
And
like
cooking.
whatever. All the cooking stuff.
Everything.
And it's like, it's kind of a lot to like think of because normally it's like I have my truck there, right? Which I have like a ton of cooking stuff in there usually, like stoves, pans, the whole thing. But like I was like kind of trying to plan out like, okay, what am I going to need for this? So I had like stoves, pans, everything to cook on the ice, stuff to cook at like plate because you never know at an Airbnb like what they're going to have. So like, I'm trying to bring everything I could need. Then all my fishing stuff, and it's like it's ice fishing, so you need like a lot of stuff. And so I dump all that there. And now I'm just like hoping I have everything. And then because I was going to fly out there, So I flew there on Monday night, the next following Monday. And all I had with me was like one duffel bag. So I was like, God, like the whole time you're thinking like, did I pack that? Did I pack that? But the GoPro was like a key element to this whole thing. So I put it in my boot because I knew that my boots would make it because I dropped those at Waldo's because I'd put it all in like his trailer, figuring like, oh, hopefully he finds everything in here. But sounds like it all worked out.
Yeah,
But
so he
Luke
ended
wore
up
my
wearing
boots for a week, apparently.
He wore your boots until you got there. And then we had the insane snowstorm hit. And during that day, the guys went and ran a bunch of errands, and they took Luke to Shields.
Yeah, Griff and I drove Luke to Shields, and we got the little kid some boots.
That's so funny. I didn't know that you guys went and had to buy him boots.
Dude, one of the funniest parts was Waldo's helping him look at the boots, and one of the dudes that works there walks up and he's like, yeah, so you get this on like if you get a credit card, and he just looks at him and goes, he doesn't need a credit card. And just goes back to like literally like like a dad moment where he's like, no, he doesn't need that.
We're good.
Yeah, I literally looked at the dude.
It was hilarious.
Like, nah, he don't need that, man.
I was just standing there like, all right, well.
I picture this like one of those memes where it's like the dude at like Home Depot or whatever, and the other guy's like, I know more than you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I do feel bad because he was trying to like Luke and I are looking at the boots, and we were looking at the lacrosse boots, and I literally have the pair of lacrosse boots on my feet that are on the wall that I was telling Luke that he needs to buy.
Yeah.
And
they were on sale.
Over and tries selling him on him, and I'm like, hey, I already got that covered, homie. And I pointed at my feet, and he goes, oh yeah, he knows.
Well, that should have been like the easiest sale in the world. You could just look at the guy and be like, he has to have these.
Yeah.
Like there's no other option. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, we were seriously sitting there when we were in Wyoming looking at each other like, what are we going to do? Like, he can't just wear shoes. Well, I looked at him and I said, luckily, this part of the trip, it's supposed to be 50 degrees. And then we'll get to Billings, and then we can get you boots. But I was like,
just like the outerwear and the boots are like the most critical things you could have packed.
Yeah, you can forget bibs. And
I mean, but you could forget a lot of other equipment and be like, we're good. Everyone's got extra rods. There's extra. I mean, granted, I was supposed to cameras. Like, okay.
Right.
But like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like
no, that was a very, very funny start of the trip. Yeah.
Oh God.
It's
always something with this guy.
Yeah.
It is.
Oh, and you guys didn't know. I found out today the Airbnb lady from the last Airbnb. Oh, you did see it actually.
It was in the group text.
Yeah. She sent me a picture of some clothes and was like, "Someone left these. Do you want me to ship them to you?" I was like, "Whose is this?" And Luke was like, "It's mine. How'd that get there?" I'm like, "Well, you left it." Like,
and that's what I'm saying. It's like this.
So now I'm like,
he has for like 10 seconds and found them. So I don't know how he could have lost them.
Well, here's
now
also
just
the
know
thing.
that Luke too has a track record of forgetting stuff. So
I've never given him anything that I need.
Right.
But here is also the thing. All you said or was a picture of a hoodie and a long sleeve, and all you said is, whose is this? Like, you didn't say this was left in Montana at the last Airbnb. Like, you didn't say anything. So like I can see Luke's wheels just turning like, oh shit, I forgot that at Bart's house, or it's in Bart's truck or whatever. Not realizing it's in Montana.
Dude, you know what the crazy part about that picture was, though? I seen the picture, and the first thing I thought, because I didn't even read the words that were associated with it, I just saw the two like clothing things on that counter, and I was like, "Oh, why did you send us a picture of some stuff on the counter at that Airbnb?" Like that was the first thing I thought. Like, I recognized the counter so vividly that I was like, "Oh yeah, that's in Montana." And then I read what it was, and I was like, "Damn it, Luke."
Yeah.
But did she say anything about the odor of the place?
Yeah, did she say anything?
No.
Perfect.
No.
Okay.
Good review, everything good.
This is actually a very crucial part about all this.
It is.
Because the very first time Pink and I met was at
At this
Airbnb.
house. Yeah,
at
this
that
exact house.
And she did comment on how it smelled, and all she said was, "It smells like you guys had a good time fishing."
Yes, that was her review on Airbnb of our stay or whatever.
And we were with Rello.
Rello. Yeah, he
booked the
it.
Airbnb, and that was his review.
It actually said, I want to say it said, Brent and his friends came out and stayed to fish for the week or whatever, and based on the smell of the place, it sounds like they did pretty good.
Yeah, that's all that it said.
That was the review on
Airbnb. Yeah, it was absolutely perfect. But that Airbnb holds a special place for Pink and I, because that is where we very first met.
Yeah, that is very true.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
it was. I'm impressed she didn't. But that being said, we did absolutely trash the place that first time.
Nuked.
Yeah.
Nuked. And then you left me and Sobi to clean it all up.
Yep. Hey, all I gotta say is,
and bring home like 12 iFish Pros or whatever it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 cases of iFish Pros, a whole bunch of other crap.
Yeah.
At least I only forgot a hub house.
9 guys, and it was
yeah, you did. Yeah. Yeah. But no, Montana was super cool. And I think the videos from it should be great. Like I'm actually pumped to see some of that, because the first handful of days of the trip, I think that first day, I think you guys, it was tough. And then you had a couple good days of fishing, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's all going to be, people are going to love it. It's a great,
because I missed out on like
story.
Some of the best fishing of the trip, because the day I got there was the day that cold front came. And then we had 2 days of like kind of tough fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, still caught some.
Yeah. But then it ramped up at the end, and it was sick.
Yeah. All together, it's going to be awesome. It'll be exactly what a lot of people have been asking for, just in terms of a bunch of different stuff. I know it was funny when you weren't there, Pink. So the first part of the trip, we were in People's Seed. Had a lot of mountains around us, like a lot, like actual mountains.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful outside. And we'd all look at each other. And Griff, you'd never seen the mountains before this trip, right?
Nope.
Yeah, so we'd like turn around and Griff is just standing there with his phone, just like, like a high school dad at a hockey game or whatever, just trying to photo something. And he's just sitting there like zooming in, just like trying to get a picture. He's like, you can't really photo these very well. I'm like, no, you can't.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's no good way to really showcase it, like standing there.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. And like, that was my first. So when I went to Cascade, we were at 8,000 feet, and the mountains around it were at 12,000.
Sure. Yep.
This first lake that we went to, I believe we were at like 3,200 or 4,000 feet.
I think it was a little over 4,000.
Yeah, it was right around there, and the mountains were 12,000 feet.
Sure. So the actual like elevation changes a lot more because the mountains
you like look
exactly.
Yeah.
And so like it was way more like, holy shit!
Like that's a goddamn mountain right here.
Yeah.
I think the best, like one of the memories I'll remember for the rest of my life is the first morning we woke up at the first place, like walk downstairs, go to get coffee or whatever, and like get a few camera shots in the morning. Luke's already running around filming stuff. And I like get down there because like where the kitchen was downstairs and the beds were upstairs, and none of us had our curtains open or anything. So I walk down there and I like look out the back, and there's a stream and a little bit of woods, but behind it you can see the mountains. And I'm like, oh shit, there's mountains, because we got there in the dark,
Yeah.
And I go look and I'm like, oh my God, that's like a mountain, like not even a mile away. Holy cow. Yeah. And I step outside and I just see Griff standing out there having his morning cigarette, just staring at it.
Would you just look at it?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's a man having a moment right now,
That's awesome. I did love those. So once I got there though, and then like well, for one, because that first night we stayed at the first night that I got there, we stayed at Owen's place or whatever. Yeah. And of course, like the setup is dope, right? Like we go there, we go in the garage, it's full of taxidermy and all this stuff. And I was like, we should just stay here the whole time. I'm good with this,
Yeah.
And but
as there's a 397 bull just completely over the
yeah,
top.
of course. I mean, these guys have so much like hunting going on, and like, yeah, their place is full blown. It was sweet. But so once we went to like the next stop though, I did love how, because it's like we're staying in a tiny little town. We were in the middle of absolutely nowhere, Montana, and it is like a super small place. But once we got out of it, like we were just in the middle of basically nothing. And I felt the whole time, Bart, like I'm telling you, dude, like I could tell you were so out of your element. It was like hilarious to watch. Really,
it was
like,
very funny.
Everything you did, I was just like, he is
not used to this.
No, hell
it was funny. Like, I don't know, like,
Yeah, no, never been out like, well, especially when you got there, what we went and did after with how remote we were.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've never done anything.
I could tell you were like,
that.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It was just, it was cool. But still, it's just like
cool.
Yeah,
it's fun. It was just cool to see somebody that had never done something like that, like in the moment doing it. And I was like, oh man. it was funny. I don't know.
It was pretty cool.
I mean, I still think, like, even for all you guys who did it, though, when we're all of a sudden 30 miles down a gravel road and we're like, this definitely isn't 2 inches of snow. I think we were all a little bit like, oh, fuck. I really hope
zero tracks in front of us. Yeah.
That, for me, that wasn't the, oh, shit, I haven't done this moment. That was the, oh, shit, we could die moment.
Oh, yeah, really.
I wish we'd have been recording, because me and Owen were in his truck and he was like driving, like leading the whole thing. It was so funny because like I should have been like vlogging or something, because we're just like driving and the whole time we're just like chatting stories about this or that or whatever, just BSing about stuff. And like we're like, you can feel like the ass end of the truck kind of like sliding around in that shit or whatever. And like we'd come up to, there was some good drifts on the road,
big.
And like we'd just be chatting, like having a like talking about some hunt thing or whatever, this or that, and all of a sudden we'd both just kind of be like, think we'll make it through that, and it was just like, and we're like, yeah, we're good, and then just go right back into the conversation. Like and then we get there, we're like, wow, that ride wasn't bad, and we get out of the truck and you guys were like, dude, that was fucking crazy. Like it was so funny. Like the dynamic, like I can only envision like how each vehicle was like processing the scenario. It was so funny.
Well, because like I was looking at you guys and I told Luke, I was like, I wish we had the suction cup GoPro on the front truck right now.
Oh yeah.
Because like I was watching you guys leading and you had Owen's single axle trailer, and that trailer never went straight. Like it was just
all over the place,
weighing everywhere. And I was like, God, I am glad I told Luke, I was like, if I was in the front, I'd be stuck, just because of how big this trailer is.
Or dead because it took you off the fucking road.
Yes, or because you'd come around some of those turns and you'd be like on a go-kart track and you just feel it start sliding down and you're like, no. And you just,
we're essentially just on like a gravel 2-track, just like going
next
through like
clip.
We're going through the Missouri breaks.
Yeah.
It's the very start of the Missouri
I mean,
breaks.
and the road was fine. It was just covered in snow. Like it's a fine road, but it was just like,
it was just
no one had driven. We were the only tracks in it since it snowed.
Yeah. Yes. Only track since it had snowed. It's a single lane dirt road, and it's through the Missouri breaks, where there was a couple portions where you're like, I'd be dead if I
it's like it would be like 100 feet of elevation drop, like at the shoulder of the road.
No.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. When you're looking out the window, like I can see way down there. Like
I still will say I never felt as sketchy on that road as I did as Griff and I on that damn bridge in New York.
Oh, that was
driving to Maine. That was 10 times worse.
I was like, I'd rather fall there.
Yeah. I'd rather drive down that gravel road 100 times than go over that bridge one more time.
Yeah, fuck that bridge.
Yeah. Whatever was going on there.
This was definitely like, I would say the most like maybe not the most travel, but like the most like adventurous ice fishing excursion I've been a part of, probably.
Yeah,
it's
for the people watching it, it's like it's 11 days of like out there. And like progressively,
it's what you would expect from like a hunting
there.
Video.
Yes.
But we went ice fishing.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's
like really
you nailed it on the
funny.
head. That's what it
it's
was.
It's super funny.
we did a
Well, it's like,
hunting trip.
how
on
many
ice.
times did you go ice fishing and you bring your Garmin InReach thing? Never.
First time.
You
Yeah.
were texting me from the thing, and I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, when I got out there and I actually got signal for like a millisecond, I was like,
Defay.
what? You can text from that thing? Because you told me
Yeah.
about it, and then you're over here texting me from it. I'm like, okay, wow, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's cool. And then I mean, just the like we got out there and we were definitely like doing it for sure.
Yeah.
It was cool. But like, hey, like we were out there, like we saw a bunch of elk. That was cool. Like
That
first
was
time
super
ever
cool.
when ice
That was
fishing,
cool
it was
for
like
me.
there's some bulls right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd never seen elk before, so that was very
Yeah.
cool for me. It was, and like they were right there. It wasn't like
Yeah, they weren't like they were far
over
away.
this hill away. It was
No,
like
we were
they're
like right
there.
on them. Yeah.
And then
there
they're
was
like,
a
I'm
group
gonna
of
run
30
with
cows
you.
and 11 bachelor bulls. It was pretty bad.
Did we get any video of that?
I think Luke tried. I
Of
don't
course
know if
not.
we had I don't know if we had the long lens on then because we were like we're
Yeah.
about to drive for
car.
2 hours, in the
Yeah.
car. And then it was also because kind of just the weird stuff of like I didn't know if I wanted to put the drone up yet or whatever, trying to feel everything out.
Oh yeah.
But no, that drive, and then also the whole out there thing. It was cool. It was just interesting to me being on a trip where I felt like around here, the most work and hard part and processing, I think, is on the ice. And for that
Right,
whole
sure,
trip,
yep.
it was getting to fishing,
Just accessing
getting-
where you go.
getting away from fishing. Like when we
Yeah.
got to fishing, it was like, oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
We made
Now
it.
we get a fish.
Yeah, like we
We
made
did
it. Let's do our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, when we
Yeah,
got to that boat ramp after that drive, it was like, thank God, like I'm on the ground. Like it was just like I don't want to be up there anymore. Like
Yeah.
I was just like, is this gonna
By the
end?
way, very
Yeah,
impressive boat ramp.
very, very different thought for you. I got down to that ramp and I was like, that was the best control slide I have ever done in my life. Like I got there a solid minute or two after you guys because my whole trip down that thing was like stalled brakes, and we have traction right before the turn, and we're turning, and now we're sliding again, and just the whole way down. But
Yeah, clutch
it was cool.
move being able to leave the trailer there too. That was also
Well, yeah, that's how far in the middle of
But
nowhere
you figure, like, if you drove all the way back there, what are you gonna be like? Oh, I'm hooking this up.
yeah, no.
Like the only reason you came back there is because you already had all your own crap with you, or you're like, I'm out of here, man.
Yeah.
When Owen told us that we were leaving the stuff there, Bart goes, "Oh, really?" And he goes, "Dude, you literally have a better chance of a coyote stealing your four-wheeler than anything, than somebody actually stealing it."
He made a very good point.
Yeah.
And he
And
was
then you were like,
I mean,
"Oh,
it
okay."
is. It's just like because you don't, you never are around that, right? Around
No.
here,
Yeah.
But
Like I said, I think when we got to the bar after the first day, or like when we got done the second day and got back to the house and we're like cooking, I had never in my life thought I would say like getting onto a tar road felt like when you just lay down in bed after a long day. Like when your vehicle got onto it just from the gravel.
See, this is what
and
I'm
the
talking
frickin'
about. Like
wrenching.
listening
It was
to you the
so
whole time,
funny.
I was just like, this is all new. This is all new.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't think
I
there's a
know.
lot of people have probably driven down that much gravel before.
Yeah.
Or that road in general.
I will say that was the
Yeah,
nicest.
or that road. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the nicest middle of absolute nowhere boat launch I could have ever imagined.
Yeah, it was. It was very nice.
They do it right out there.
Oh yeah.
They're like, once you get here, it's great.
Yeah.
Until then, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. But every part of it was like a very pretty drive. Like it's a very cool place. Like
Yeah.
3 hours
terrain,
feels
cool
like an hour with just all the stuff.
wildlife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for driving home. That was a long drive home. Griff and I had to listen to my truck absolutely screaming at me.
Yeah. What happened to your truck? I never heard about this until you said.
Yeah.
update
So
of it being
this
fixed.
is screwed up. So I just, right before we left for this trip, my Ram, I put about 110,000 on it. and it was getting up there in the miles, and I had a cylinder 7 misfire, which on Hemi motors is not good. Usually means that they're going to blow up or you're going to need a whole new cam kit. So traded it in, got a new truck. The new truck has a leveling kit in it that the dealership had put in and put on their site. And I'm like, wow, that's a great looking truck. Drove it around. It was awesome. They put the leveling kit in backwards, and there's these arms that come down your
sway arms.
Yes, and they come down to these bushings that connect to your struts. So those bushings twisted, and one of them snapped. 3 of the 4 twisted, and it was making a horrible screeching noise because they put the leveling kit in wrong. They didn't release any of the pressure from those arms, so it had the pressure of a stock truck instead of a lifted truck. So it twisted everything, screwed everything up. And so Griff and I are driving down that 55 mile long road or whatever it was, and my truck just starts clunking on every bounce and screeching at me. I'm like, holy shit.
Is that why you guys had pulled over?
No. Oh, on the way home?
Yeah.
No,
Waldo had to pee.
Yeah, I had to pee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we drove by you guys, and Krug was like, "You think they're okay?" I was like, "Just go."
I would, because Pink knows I would have called or texted.
I was like, "Just go."
If something was actually wrong. No, I was just taking a whiz. But yeah, no, the whole way home, Griff and I are like bumping music and listening to Meat Eater podcasts, and the whole time we keep looking at each other and we're like, that doesn't sound very good. As it's clunking and screeching at me on every little rock and pebble I hit. It was pretty bad. Yeah, luckily it was all covered under warranty and we're good.
That same drive did my last truck in when we went out there the first time. When me and Sam drove out there, I got rid of that one right after I got home from that one.
That was God, I think I remember your truck. Was it a Ford?
No, it was a Ram. It was a standard cab with an 8-foot bed, that's right. And it had a topper on it, but it was like gold. The whole thing was gold.
Yes.
And when I got back from that one, both the front wheel bearings were toasted when we got back. Plus, I mean, there was a lot of other stuff wrong with it, but I think that was wrong with it before. But yeah, and because like the whole time we're like, man, that doesn't sound that good. But we had a trailer on and the whole thing. I was like, be fine.
Yeah.
We just went. I don't know. We made it back. It was all good. Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, we made it back too. It was that was a trip. That's for sure.
Drive back for me was awesome because the wind was behind us, so I just flew.
Yeah, I bet that was a big trailer.
Way better than the drive out there.
Oh yeah,
way better.
But it was nice having the big enclosed versus that like flatbed kind of thing because everything would have just been a mess every time.
Yes.
Yeah, it would have been really hard to also like the ratchet straps and stuff. We would have been checking like all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Compared to like the enclosed would just it's just so nice. You put it in there and it was just like I'm hanging out now. Double.
Well, it made it efficient as hell for moving Airbnbs too, because you're just like throw all the bags back there when we get there, drop it.
People see that too. So like for how big of an adventure this was, we voluntarily moved 4 times.
Yeah,
I would not recommend doing that on an ice fishing trip, but by the third time,
gear for 7 guys.
Yeah, we were pretty good at it.
Yeah.
AKA, we just went to the trailer and we're like, I need that in the next house, and just chucked it in.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, we were like, just bring everything inside. I don't know whose is whose.
Yeah, shit was tossed everywhere.
But yeah, no, I'm very excited for the videos to come out. Definitely adventure of a lifetime. People should be very hyped. There's very big fish, cool
like
fish.
Actually big fish.
Yeah, really big fish.
Should we leak how many species?
No, we can wait for them to.
We can wait for that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say
multi. It was multi.
Yeah. Very multi. Very multi.
All right, we'll play close to our best. You have to at least watch, but we went to Montana, so you can like Google about what lives there.
I will say at one point in time when Pink got there, we caught a fish that I'd never seen before. He said, kill it. So we were like, okay. And then he filleted it later and he like handed the meat towards Waldo and he was like, look. And Waldo touched the meat and almost immediately puked. And then Pink cooked
you're talking about that thing with like the pudding meat?
Yes.
Yes.
The applesauce.
Meat.
Applesauce. That's what it was. Yeah.
Hey, it turned out good. It
turned out really good. I did eat it.
Pink cooked it 30 minutes later, and Waldo ate it and was like, wow.
I was like, that was a big change.
And that was filmed too. So that people will see that.
Yeah.
That
Hopefully
wasn't even a frozen
something.
kitchen segment. That's just like randomness that happened.
Oh, yeah.
That was just okay. I just like experimenting or whatever. And I knew about these fish, and I was like, if I get my hands on one, and I didn't even expect to do that on this trip at all. I was just like, if I get my hands on one, I'm definitely going to try it and like mess around with it because I kind of knew the deal on how to get the meat off and everything because it's a little different kind of situation. But
well, yeah, you need
then
a
we ended up
because it's
then we ended up kind of yeah, but like still, but then we kind of ended up actually getting into them, so we kept like a couple of them, and made it happen.
We caught quite a few actually.
That's how recipes are born, boys.
Well, we didn't know that you wanted to keep them, so Griff and I were just catching them and throwing them back. Like
luckily, we didn't need many of them, so that's the good news.
No, but you could have. I mean, I think you really could have caught a lot of them if you wanted to.
Oh,
yeah, if you downsized
your bait and probably smoked them.
If I would have put a 30-second pinhead on,
or just a jig in a plastic, like if you were crappie fishing, you'd have smoked.
Yeah, because they couldn't get your bait. Like, how many did you lift on? And they were like, you're like, it's on there. And then you start the hook and you're like, oh, you can my shit.
It was probably 10, maybe more.
I think you could have smashed.
Just going,
they're cool to watch on live, though.
Oh yeah, they're just like trout.
And they're especially on that new one, they look like a snake in the water. You're like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, we were watching them on Mega Live too, and they literally swim like snakes.
I bet, dude. They're floppy little bugs.
That's what they look like on the thing. You're like, well, that's so weird. But then you catch
like Griff, I remember the very first time we're sitting. So it was so cold that day that Griff and I were sitting in an ice house, and we had Mega Live 2 down, and it was in between both our holes, and we're both sitting there. And Griff goes, "What the fuck is that? Is that an eel?"
That's what it looked like. I mean, it looked like 100% like an eel.
Yeah, it was like just swim, like legitimately like waving.
Yeah, it was very weird.
It was wild. It was wild. And like for the longest time, we didn't catch one. So we're both like thoroughly confused at what we're looking at because it's happened like 10, 15 times now.
Yeah.
And we're just sitting there watching it like, what the heck is that? And then finally Griff catches one and it's like, what is that?
Yeah.
No, you're
like, now that you're even
like,
looking at it, you're
heck?
like,
it's a golden eye.
Yeah. It's so funny, dude.
Yeah.
It was like totally unexpected too that there would like be numbers. You know what I mean? Like
we
one thing
so
like,
many swim through.
How many did you guys mark? I mean, we were marking them
a lot.
A lot of them.
Like I've never seen one before in my entire life. So that was like, yeah.
Yeah, that place was loaded.
Yeah, it was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of anything other notable. If you have a CPAP and you go to Montana, I'd recommend using distilled water because I poisoned myself by like day 4 or 5.
Yeah,
I was like, man, I'm getting sick.
It was funny because you were coming up with like all these other reasons why you were sick.
Like, and then all of a sudden I was like,
wait a taxidermy, man. I must be allergic
he thought he was allergic to taxidermy.
Well, first it was a taxidermy, then it was Owen's dogs.
It could have been either, but then we got what really tricked it off for me was when we got to that third Airbnb or whatever, and we turned on the water.
Sulfur water.
And it was that sulfur scent, and I went, oh, I bet I know what this is. Then I got the distilled water. And
the water at that place was like 90% sulfur.
Yeah, that was disgusting. It was like, don't drink that.
Don't even turn on the sink.
Yeah, don't do that either.
Like I'm
Yeah,
very
definitely.
And if you turned it to hot, it was like 10x.
Oh yeah. So I'm very used to it because I have well water. That was bad. Like,
That was so
dude,
bad.
that
really
was
bad.
That was on another level of bad. Like,
Yeah.
they need to.
I like the first time when we smelt it, everybody was like, "Jesus Christ, who let that fucking thing go?" And then we're like,
And I was like, I'm just washing the dishes.
"Yeah," and then like, "Oh, it's the water."
Yeah,
I was like,
Just
I'm swearing
washing
to
the
God.
dishes.
it was pretty rank. It was
It was
bad.
like, I know we eat some bad shit when we're out there, but oh my god.
Yeah, Griff, what was your favorite moment from the trip, besides the obvious?
Well, you can't spill. I get it because Bart doesn't want to spill.
Well,
the
that's
beans
why I
on
said
what-
besides
We can't spill the
obvious.
beans on that one. Yeah.
No,
To be honest, I don't know. There were so many, dude. It's hard to pick one. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Just doing it with you guys was the best part. But yeah, like, I don't know. There were so many fun parts. It's hard to put.
Yeah.
Pick one.
We had a good group. I'm
Yeah.
glad
Feels
Owen
like-
was there. I think he was fun to fish with, and like I'd never met him, so that was
It
like,
was
a good
well,
time.
yeah. We got to watch his transition of like friendship with us over
Yeah.
living together for 12 days.
Right.
Like at the beginning, being like kind of timid, joking around a little bit, and then by the end of it, he's like, "Yeah, Luke, too. I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, he did. He really got in on it, dude. It was
Yeah.
funny.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
that was great. Bart, how about you?
Oh, man, I don't know.
See, it's tough.
I think it was just for me, the whole part was like, especially filming it, was just like knowing every day something really cool was going to happen and like waiting for what that was going to be.
Yeah,
That's kind of as hard as that is to explain, just because it was also a trip where, we planned it for 2 years. We had a pretty good idea of what we wanted to do and how we were going to do it. But by day 2, we were already changing plans. And then, yeah, like days 3 and 4 changed plans. All of a sudden, we were staying at a different Airbnb, going to a completely different place, because like that's the other part for people, I guess, that you won't really see it on the film. But we were, when we go to our third location, we were going to stay at a certain Airbnb or location. And we had that snowstorm and the severe cold come through after, and they literally called me and said, "Don't come." Like that, like,
Because it was more of a
because you're
rustic
that-
setup, and it was
well, and you're
yeah.
like that far out there, and also like the access to where we were going. Then they're like, "Don't come." Like your chances of death are very high. Like, so we're like, okay, we're not gonna go, and that's where like Owen and Wayne were even like, do not do that. Like that's a very bad decision.
yeah,
So kind of just going out there and thinking, we had a plan, and then just adapting and just doing a bunch of different stuff. I think that's what was super cool for me, and just experiencing a bunch of new stuff. I think that's why these Chronicle trips are always so fun, is we have a pretty good idea of like, okay, like this is kind of the format for how we're going to go about it. But the middle of what the content's going to be, or what we're going to run into, or what's going to happen. I feel like a lot of other shows or people who go film stuff maybe get really stressed out by the fishing part, or, making sure they get a video or whatever it is. And we kind of just all look at each other and we're like, well, something's going to happen. I don't know what it is. It always does happen. So let's just roll with it, and whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
And I think this trip's really cool for that, because I think my favorite part, honestly, like as weird as it is going to be watching it back and like going back through it all, editing it, and being like, holy cow.
Kind of reliving the.
Well, there's 11 days in there that like in my brain feel like one day.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And all the little things you kind of forget about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pink, how about you?
I mean, granted, I guess I didn't have like the first part of it, but I mean, the whole thing was fun, even like when the fishing was tough, right? I mean, it was still like like we were out there doing it, so it was like yeah, you know, every trip, whether it's fishing, hunting, whatever, it's like, it's, you know, even if it's not like the best ever, like Bart said, like cool stuff happens, or, you know, like the locations were cool, like all that. So, that was sweet, but I don't know. I mean, honestly, I just, we had a good group. I mean, I think that's really what makes a trip like that really, really go, you know, like, even when it was tough, like we had a lot of good vibes, and like it was fun. Like, you know, it was kind of party the whole time, and that to me was probably the best part. You know, it was like, yeah, okay, we fished, let's drive back, let's get to the house, let's cook some food or hang out or just do whatever. So I love that. I mean, I think the last couple of days of fishing were definitely my favorite part of the whole thing, but I kind of was expecting that going into it, you know. So and had a good couple days to end it off for sure. And yeah, I needed that. Like I said, I've been getting my ass kicked around here, man, and I was just like, God, I just want to lay into them and do something, and we did. So I was like, yeah, it was badass. But I love Montana. I mean, it's a cool state. I every time I go there, I'm like, God, this is
don't want to leave.
I know. It's like, I should just move here or whatever. But it's like there's a lot to do there, and it's just kind of one of those places. It kind of gets in your blood a little bit, and you're like, man, like, I can't wait to go back.
If you're an outdoorsman in the slightest, it's like it's the paradise for you. You can snowmobile. Yeah. There's ATV, off-road, side-by-side trails. There's mountains to hike. There's mountains to hunt. There's prairie to hunt. There's so many different types of fishing, from fly fishing to in the boat to ice. Like,
there's always something to do.
Yeah, the state has everything.
That's kind of why I'm like, because I've never been to Alaska, but I obviously know that, like, it's kind of that same thing. It's like once you go there, you're kind of like, I mean, I should just go here.
Yeah.
But I know I love the whole thing, like I said, and I had a lot of fun cooking for the whole squad and everything. I love doing that shit, so that was fun and messing around, because I know you guys had a pretty big pile of fish meat before I got there, so working through that was fun, and then we made an even bigger pile of fish meat, so that was fun.
It was awesome.
This was also low-key, like, for how much we changed and adapted, it was by far our most well-dialed trip in terms of, like, getting back, cooking, eating, whatever, and, like, actually getting sleep. And I think that was also because, like, we're all looking at each other like, I can't really screw up one night, because if I do, it's going to destroy the rest of the trip. Like, I'm going to be behind, and I'm not going to catch up because there's no time to catch up. So that was very cool.
But we were putting in some long hours too. Like, it wasn't just like, I don't know, it wasn't like super chill. Like, we had fun the whole time, but I felt like we were still working for it, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. It was, you just make a plan and seeing it.
Maine.
Oh yeah, we learned a lot from Maine. Just booking a trip and, like, having, like, we had it. I'm just glad, like, looking at it in retrospect, I added up all the days, and, like, I know when we were looking at it, you guys were like, how many days? And I was like, we literally can't do it shorter. And looking back at it, we definitely couldn't have.
No.
Like, that was the shortest we could have done it, the most efficiently we could have done it. We even had it, like, we had a day in there where we didn't even fish because of the snowstorm.
Well, and, you know, going into a trip like that, like, every day is not going to be a banger. Like, best case scenario, you're like 70%, you know?
Yeah, but a bunch of them turned out to be really good. So
I know, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what's awesome. That's what was, I think, super cool, was even, like, being like, oh, it was kind of tough today. It's like, well, you look back at it and you're like, well, actually, that's not that bad for anywhere back home or anywhere else I would have went.
Well, and then you leave a little meat on the bone too, to be like, man, I want to go back and hit that right, you know, or like be at that place when it's going down, you know, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I just, the last day too, being like we were all pretty tired and dragged down, and like, okay, like, we'll keep checking spots, but then getting like one more spot where all of a sudden it like fires off and everyone got a little bit more juice.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could feel everybody just be like, and I'm dead. Like, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah. But there were some moments in there that I was like, you could see the potential, like that spot where we drove way back in was like, ooh, I want to be here when it's right. You know,
Yeah.
like I would go back for that.
Just wait
You
till you
know.
see the GoPro footage that Griff and I got from inside the ice house.
Oh, I'm sure it's
of something that happened to me.
Yeah.
It makes you want to go back.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah,
just being there and like marking those fish and being like,
Yeah.
oh shit, they are here.
But
you know what I mean?
that's the other crazy thing about it is like, out of all, like, you would get bored of a spot or a spot would be sucking.
Mhm.
You would start to like get a little discouraged, and then you would go to the next spot and you would just look around you and you're like, this is freaking sick. I bet we're gonna whack them.
But
So, like,
the other thing is like you're there, like even when it sucks and you're kind of down and you're like, oh, like I wish it was like, you're like, dude, look where we're at, man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. We literally look up and
we're in
like,
such a badass place. Like we've
Yeah.
done so much cool stuff to like get to this moment. They're like, we're here fishing, just like doing it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, how can you even be bummed?
Yeah.
You know?
And
It's
I
like-
think that really helped because every once in a while, we get like, especially in the metro, I feel like if stuff's not going right for an extended period of time for us, we do get very down and discouraged. And I think what's super cool about these trips is that everything is so new that like every new spot is exciting. Every new area or portion of a lake with a different scenery is exciting because like you get super hyped up about everything. So,
but even it's like you kind of wish you could bring that same energy though, to be like, dude, even when you're just doing the same old, it's like you're still out there doing it, man. And like,
right.
I know we do it a lot, but it's like there's a lot of people that don't get to do that too. So it's kind of
yeah. It definitely made it a lot easier out west, that's for sure, of staying positive when stuff wasn't going right. Because holy crap, that place was gorgeous.
Oh yeah, man, epic.
I mean, there's nothing like it.
Like, people are gonna love the videos. They're gonna be legit.
Like, we've traveled across the country now. That place is probably the most beautiful, my favorite top 5 place in almost every destination we went to.
Yeah, I'd say certain parts of it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was great.
That was the coolest thing out there. You just felt like you drove through 5 states every time you drove an hour.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, we're
it does
here
change
now?
a lot. It does change a lot
Rapidly.
That was crazy.
But yeah, no, I think that's all legit. Well, Waldo, Griff, you guys got anything else you want to say? Otherwise, Pink and I are probably going to do a little fantasy or Bassmaster preview and then call it a night.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm going to sleep.
All right.
All right.
Well, nice seeing you boys. We'll
thanks for coming on.
Bye.
Peace.
Later.
All right. Well, that was good.
Yeah. I think it's funny though, because it's like you always want to like come on and then you're like, well, we don't want to like give it all away. But it's like, how do you even
want
talk
people to watch the videos?
How do you even?
I think we did plenty good there.
So if you want more information, gonna have to watch. Stick with it.
You're gonna definitely have to stick with it and watch the vids. There'll be we got I'm assuming Sunday or Monday will be the next video, and then next week there's gonna be a couple really fucking big fish. Like,
so it'll probably be like another at least week before any of this Montana stuff starts popping.
Yeah, but like for people who are like, oh, I'm so excited for Montana, just know like I felt comfortable holding these other 2 crappie videos because they're fucking huge. Like,
there was some really good metro action that happened before that trip.
Included Griff beat the biggest crappie that's ever been caught on camera, so they'll get to see that. It's very big.
Which is awesome.
Very, very cool. Which made honestly the Montana trip, I think, even more enjoyable. But heading into it, we got Bassmasters kicking off. We were talking about the fantasy earlier. The first event is going to be on the St. Johns River, which is in Palatka, Florida. They like to lead off here quite a bit now lately. So, kind of what we were talking with Blake about at the beginning. I'm going to be honest here, Pink. I have not set my lineup yet. Oh, you can't even set your lineup yet.
Yeah, you can.
No, they did it different. Do they not have buckets right now? Or
It's
am I in
exactly
Drain
the
the
same.
Lake? I'm in Drain the Lake right now.
All right, well, I'll go through mine. So yeah, Florida, I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like I went with the layups here, but I think I only had one that I semi picked against the grain. So I'm gonna just go with I feel like the ones that I picked were really, I mean, pretty in line with like how most people in fantasy fishing picked. I don't have any like crazy wild card picks for this one. So I have bucket A, I picked Corey Johnston. B, I went John Cox, obviously. C, this was the only one that I was kind of like, but I ended up picking Brandon Polinick there for being not in that part of the country. He tends to do pretty well in Florida. So, and then I got Jason Christie and then Scott Martin. So
I'm almost done picking mine. Buy me some time.
Okay. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, Florida's a weird one because I think you have this weird mix of guys that are from the Midwest that do good in Florida. And then you have like obviously the Florida guys and like, a smattering of guys from like Oklahoma or Georgia that kind of do good. But I don't know. I guess it really depends. Like I haven't been following along too much on how this one is setting up, like a lot of the like pre-tournament information that's been out there. But I feel pretty confident in my picks that a lot of these guys are going to be in the top of the field. So, and unlike last year, I'm probably going to ride or die with John Cox this year because last year was the first year I didn't, and it didn't go super well. So,
yeah, you had a rough year last year.
I did, but I didn't lose. So
that is true. That is
actually, I started off strong and then I failed miserably. But what are you gonna do? So, but we'll see. I think I'm gonna take a little more of a conservative approach to the beginning of the season, and then let it spiral from there. So
that's not a terrible idea. I'm just really trying to figure out bucket D right now because it's not good. Or I'm sure someone's going to do very well here, but it's like hard to pick. All right, so I'll just go with what I got. I got bucket A, Patrick Walters. Patrick Walters has done very well at the St. Johns River a lot. He's one of the hottest anglers on the planet. So kind of hard not to pick him there. Bucket B, John Cox. Hard to pick anyone but John whenever they're in Florida. Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of high and low on the St. John's sometimes, but I got a good feeling about him. Group C, I'm going to go with Brian Schmidt because he always does well on river systems, grass fisheries, and like tidal fisheries, and the St. John is all of those together. Bucket D, I ended up going with Mark Menendez coming back from I think he had an injury last year, so he's back in it. Yeah, hopefully he can do well. He's done really well here before. That bucket D, like I said, is kind of a tough one to pick for the St. John's because there's not a ton of guys in here who have experience or have done really well here. So that one will be interesting. Bucket E, I actually think there's a lot of really intriguing people in here. You got past winners and some of these rookies are going to do really, really good. That's kind of what's been shown over the last few years in Bassmasters. These rookies are coming in hot. I
agree, but those are difficult picks. You know what I mean?
They're very difficult. One guy I was really strongly debating him. I don't think I'm going to do it, but he tends to always do well here. Is Jake Whitaker. He's only at 1% ownership. He always does good at the St. John's, just like throwing a Senko around some cuts. But I'm going to go with Dakota Eber, and that is because dude just smashes him everywhere he goes. He has high ownership, but the dude is good. And then tiebreaker, wait for here. I haven't looked at the weather, and that's going to dictate this a ton, but I'm going to go with 74.7. So not quite 20 a day, but it certainly could be. I mean, we've seen times where the St. John's is almost at 100-pound deal, and we've seen times where it's like that, 17, 18 a day does really well. And that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen. unless some guys really unlock some scope and fish. And I think it's the Rodman Reservoir, Raymond? It's a part connected to it that you have to lock through, but
I think it's
that's what I'm
Rodman.
feeling.
Yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
that's
it's Rodman Reservoir.
Yeah.
But that is my fantasy picks for this one. I will say I may change those by game day just because I did that quickly, but I feel pretty good about those. So
yeah, I mean, yeah. So it should be interesting to see kind of how this plays out. But yeah, that's cool. What you said 70 something, 76?
yeah, I went like 76. You could go 80 something, I think, too. It really just depends on the weather. Like if you look at the weather and next week it's like, oh, it is 60 degrees on Sunday and Thursday it is 80 and calm for 4 days in a row and sunny. It's like, well, the weights are going to be huge. Because they're all going to pull up. But I have not I've not been very dialed into the preview of the whole Bassmaster season yet, just with I mean, we were literally in no man's land service for the last 2 weeks. So I'm just generally trying to catch up on life right now.
Yeah, I mean, for this one, and that's the thing. Like it's a fresh year, so no one has any stats yet going in other than previous success.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like everything shifts a lot in the first couple tournaments of the year as far as like fantasy stuff goes. Because, some people come out of the gate flat and some people smash it in Florida and then falter pretty heavily after it. So it's like, it's weird.
I should say though, shame on us. Neither of us picked Blake Caps, and we had him on earlier.
I did tell him that I wouldn't pick him. So I think that's fair. But they did. He is in. I think he's in bucket E.
He's there. If you guys like him,
and 0.4% ownership. So wild card pick right now. But hey.
And if you're doing Drain the Lake,
he's going to smash us, prove us all wrong.
Yeah, if you're doing Drain the Lake, free advice, save him for 10 killer. He's grown up fishing it. So
yeah, he did say that. He was hyped for that. So maybe don't pull the trigger there. But if he lands it in the head-to-head thing, I might be looking his way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Dude wants it bad. So, but I might, if you're dabbling in fantasy, check that out. I think I might give that a go.
I might actually take a look at that too.
Challenge. So, anyway, but we'll see how it plays out. It'll be a fun one to watch. I think Florida tournaments are always usually like the live is usually pretty good. So, looking forward to that because they have like a lot of seemingly like good service, in the areas. So it's like guys don't end up in places where they can't like film them.
Yeah, hit or miss on St. John's. Normally good, if depending where they get in Rodman, but I feel like every year it's getting better out there. But so Bassmaster season kicks off. Bunch of ice fishing videos coming. Also for people like trying to get after it. I know it's going to be really cold the next week and a half, and then you're going to be able to get after it again. We're going to have ice for a long time up here, so I know some people might be like, man, I'm excited for open water. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that ain't coming till like April or something, man. We got a lot of ice.
Now we're getting some snow on it.
Yeah. And we're getting snow on it. It's going to insulate and it's going to be around a while. So for those of you who are ice anglers, take advantage of it. Support your local retailers, support the resorts, get on some of their roads. It's been very needed, so it's great to see another great ice year. Really hyped about that. But yeah, other than that, Pink, I think we're probably good. It was a fun one. We'll be back. I can promise you now we will be back on a much more regular schedule now that we're kind of back from all our Chronicle adventures. We'll be able to be a little more scheduled. We're going to be more planned out now. We're through that.
The craziness is winding down.
Yeah.
Till the next craziness starts.
We're going to get back on schedule, get things rolling, and get nice and planned out. So we'll get a full squad here soon. And, get caught up with everyone. So appreciate all you. Rate, subscribe. Do the whole thing. And we will see you on the next episode of Pass the Barb.